Yeah. Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at the DUM Show and his website. Yeah. Don'tUnfriendMe.com. Yeah.
Once again, folks, as we work on our new sound system to make sure everybody sounds wonderful, let us know how we're coming in tonight, 5x5. If it's loud enough, if anyone has any problems with Olivia and I being too quiet, tell us now. Amy, same thing. Amy's too loud. We want to have all the hosts sound the same. And if the videos are too loud, let us know. But we think we fixed the audio problem. You just need to let us know. We've got a couple complaints about the sound, so we're trying to get it fixed. So once again, your feedback would be appreciated. And no, I will not bite your head off. Do it!
You're tired of being so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want. Damn, show what you need. I won't tell no lies. Back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at the DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
It doesn't say that. It just points out the stupidity of our elected officials. People on Facebook. I'm trying to be. This is the nicer and softer Matt. I'm trying to be nicer. Here's the thing, folks. I'm not grumpy. I'm not mad. Just
matter of fact.
It's not that. It's just okay. Can I just be honest?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
I thought it was rhetorical. Sorry.
You're right, and I'm. Well, when it comes to my wife. You're right, and I'm always wrong. I got to deal with that 24 hours, 7 days a week. But on this show, you're wrong, and I'm always right. And that's just the way it is. And until that changes, I'm going to get frustrated when you're stupid. Okay? That's it. I don't know what to... listen.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid people out there. So it's like...
So listen, and it's not... everyone's like, that's narcissism. No, listen, it's not bragging if it's true. If it's wrong, then I would have to backpedal. Like, look at Dan Bongino right now. Dan Bongino is literally just going, he's just slaughtering everybody. And Ben Shapiro's doing the same thing. And I'm like, guys, if you were more accurate, you probably would have you wouldn't need to defend yourself all the time. if you wouldn't go out on these horrible. So it's not about that I think people are stupid. I don't think you're stupid until you say something stupid.
Yeah.
And if you have an opinion, have an opinion. In fact, somebody said, you're such a narcissist. When people, I get this. This is one of the rarest things people say about me because it's not true. When people disagree with you, you get upset. That's not true. At all.
Yeah.
In any way, that is a complete fabrication. When you say, this is my opinion, in fact, I usually don't even read what you say. I hear, it's my opinion. I'm like, okay, forget it. This is emotional. Blech. I don't care. Because I don't really care about your opinion. And you shouldn't care about my opinion. You should care about the facts. Facts are important, right? So, but when you say, there's a B-52 on the moon, and I'm certain, now we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to argue with you if you're wrong. I want to let you guys know something. Community notes is a very difficult thing to be a part of unless you're influencing. Unless you have a reputation. They don't give it to anybody. I've just got community notes. So now I am a moderator on Twitter. So I'm able to go ahead and fact check. And this is like heaven. Today I had like 47 community notes added to people who are just blatantly lying. Blatantly lying. And it took me 3 seconds a post. So for example.
Hey, popcorn, real quick.
What? Popcorn?
Yeah, popcorn. Can you turn my headphones down? You said any issues.
Popcorn's not a distraction. Popcorn is when I'm going off on somebody and I need to be nicer.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
You're-
Actually, teeny bit up. It's
my God.
Sorry, it was too quiet.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here's an example, okay? Everyone, just look at this picture. Okay, see that? Now, what's the first thing you notice about this? It's Olivia. No. What's the first thing? What's the first thing you guys notice about this picture? Let's walk us through it. Tell me about it.
The first thing, it's two kids.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed
Brown kid and a white kid.
One at a time, people. One at a time. It's what?
It's a brown. Obviously, that's her brother who looks brown, and she looks very white in this picture.
Yeah. In fact, right. So we know this. We saw this picture the other night. What else do we notice about it besides the 1980s hair that looks like Flock of Seagull gone wrong?
I love it though.
Right.
Well,
It's like
I mean,
she's ready for glamour shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
I noticed it looks like an old tape. Scotch tape is on there. I noticed the orange.
Yeah. So
streak through that.
good. See, now this is what I'm talking about. Now, this is a woman who has lived with somebody in intelligence most of their life. And here's why. Because that's the first thing I noticed. What are these streaks? What is the one going horizontal across her mouth and the bridge of her nose? That is weird to me. And what it is a coffee stain.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, I can see the circle.
So here's how I know it's fake. And it takes me 2 seconds. And all of you are going to see it right now. Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. Boom. Tell me what's fake. How do you know it's fake right now? How do you know, besides the fact that she's actually as brown as the other kid now, how do you know this picture is fake? The one on the right, not the one on the left. The one on the left is the original, which is being held by her father, and the picture is being taken.
Because the brown line is a lot lighter in the one on the right than
Correct.
the one on the left.
And the picture may fade into obscurity, but the stain isn't going to fade in the exact same rate as the picture, which means that the overall contrast and opacity of the picture was turned down to make her look more white. That's how you know it's fake. So bam, right there. Community notes are all, I've been crushing people with this because nobody could find the original picture. Well, I found the original picture. And then I demonstrated that people, so if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? See, the hard part about this whole thing, folks, and this show is you're making me defend Nikki Haley. I don't want to defend Nikki Haley. I didn't want to defend Ron DeSantis when I had to defend him, and I didn't want to defend Trump. I didn't want to defend Chris Christie when I had to defend him on his policies when it came to state prosecutors being relieved or using state's attorneys to go ahead and replace, town and city prosecutors and local prosecutors. It's a great idea. As far as his overall plan to secure our schools was great. I don't want to defend Chris Christie, but I did sometimes. You're making me defend Nikki Haley. I particularly don't even think she is a fantastic candidate for vice president. She just brings you the votes. So me picking her 3 years ago was knowing what Trump was going to need, seeing in 18, 20, and 22 what he bled, and knowing Nikki Haley was going to bring in that because I understand her politics. And I do like her. I just don't love her as VP. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't have to love her. I don't have to like her. She's just got to help Trump win. So listen to me when I say this. I know that I am hard on the viewer. But see, there's a difference between me and other people is I interact with you. And like my children, you're annoying sometimes. And I've got to break out the hand and slap you. Bam! And give you a little whoosh. Liv? Wait, why am I doing my own sound effects, Liv?
Yep, sorry.
See, I do that to Liv too. See, Liv, like my child, I just need to spank you, but for different reasons. So the thing is this, is I understand that. So already there. So I'm going to try. I said I was going to stop cussing, and I still drop an F-bomb or shit once in a while, but the cussing, like that would, but every other word, I think I've done a better job, except for the other night, but that's okay. That was one time. I mean, broken clock. But when you say something that's stupid, I promise you that I'm going to try not to react. I'm going to ask more questions. And I'm going to try to be a little more inclusive because I realize that the only thing that's stopping this show from taking off is the person who's holding it back, but also will be responsible for having it take off, which is our own ownership of who we are, right? And Olivia's certainly not causing any issue, and Amy's not causing any issue. So, and Leroy isn't causing any issue. So it's got to be me causing some issue, is what I would assume, that some people are turned off by being made to feel stupid. Well, go figure. I didn't know. I didn't know people didn't like ridicule. I'm sorry. I should have figured it out. But I still have to be me. And if you think Dan Bongino doesn't do that to you, he does.
I think you just need to have a little more patience.
Hey, nobody asked you, Olivia, okay? Nobody cares what you think, okay? Why don't you know what? Fine. Just go ahead. Sorry.
Just have a little more patience and tolerance, and somebody may say something stupid. But
oh God, you haven't ran this show. You know what?
I know
I'm gonna
I
go away.
haven't.
I'm gonna go away one night, and I'm gonna let you run it. And you know, your sound sucks, and your video sucks, and oh my God, Olivia, blah blah blah. You know, it's 3 years, man. Go ahead, Amy.
you weren't.
No, I
looking for
was just
suggestions?
excited.
I'm looking for suggestions. No, it comes down to this, is that I recognize that I can be a little dry, not to the current view. I think that stays. And I think once people are here for a show or two, it gets normalized and everyone's okay. It's the new people. And I think listen, a lot of you guys in the chat also jump down on people pretty freaking hard. So it's not just me. So attitude reflects leadership. So if in my show, I've got to be better and I got to stop jumping down. Now, when you have that person who comes in here and says Hillary Clinton's a lizard, I'm sorry. Those people I'm going to destroy. And there's nothing.
I totally get that.
Well, I'm not, but see, that's the thing. Those are the people I'm kind of going after. If you got to look at the other guy last night, or whatever his face was, Maynard or whatever, that guy, he said that Donald Trump was still in charge of the country and he's the president and the military is in charge of our government. I mean, come on. How do you not tell somebody like that they're completely stupid? Fine. So I'm going to do better. So listen, because of your inability to listen, I'm going to be nicer. Was that okay? No, that was a backhanded comment. Okay. Let me try it again.
It was a little passive aggressive.
Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just going to say, I don't think it's about being nicer because I think you're incredibly nice. And I mean that genuinely.
So sweet.
I think thank you. I think it's more of just not being nicer, but just being more
gay,
fluffy. No, like yeah, maybe gay. No, just more like just
fluffy,
not so sharp with the responses. Just
so be dumber.
it out a little bit.
So I need to
not sharp as in like
I need to
sharp,
lower
like
my intelligence to make people feel secure. Oh, Oh no, that's
No,
okay. No, that's
pointy
good.
sharp, like rigid.
So I need
like
to pretend to
you-
be
it's
a
just more
woman?
softer. Yes, be more feminine.
Was that wrong? See,
Identify
that was
as-
too sharp. That was too sharp. I'm learning.
Dang
Okay.
it.
Amy, I'm teasing. Yes, you're right. I need
know.
to be a little softer around the edges. I need to, I think, I agree. I think there's just, I jumped too quickly sometimes. But I know what's coming, and I gotta stop burying the lead. I gotta allow people to demonstrate how dumb they are or how stupid they are before I immediately just say that they are. And I think that's rude, right? I gotta stop doing that. That's my shortcoming. And so now that we've uncovered this, and this is the way our show is, we talk to the audience. We have these conversations. So I like where that's at. Softer. I don't know if I can beat, but Liv, can you help me here?
I think what you're trying to say is that you're going to try not to jump down anyone's throat over saying one comment or saying something that is stupid. Like what John said the other night was stupid, but everyone has their opinions. And I think unless it's 100% wrong, like Hillary's a lizard and Trump's a lizard and, something. But if it's just a stupid opinion, I don't like Haley because she takes money from blah, 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 blah. That's really not a reason to jump down someone's shit.
So here's the thing. So Amber, who's been here and watching since God was a corporal, says, am I the only one that misses the original show? The no shirts yet, the no merchandise. My goodness, those were amazing shows. And it's interesting, Amber. See? Watch. Amber, that's a very good point. I'm so glad you made that point. It really means a great deal to me that you would take the time to share your truth with us. Thank you. Hey, fucking Amber, you want to know what? You asked for shirts. You were one of them. And I told you I didn't want to do shirts. And I told you I didn't want to make these grandiose, big freaking plans and make this thing grow. So it's kind of, sorry, let me change that. Amber, I don't know if I agree with you. I can talk to Amber any way I want because Amber's amazing. But Amber, you guys are the group that asked for it, right? And I get that. A lot of people come back and William does that, and you've said that, and I don't know if Jen has said that or any of the people who were here before, but I didn't want that. Right? I enjoyed the show the way it was, but people wanted it to change. And I don't think it's changed. I think the content is still there. I think we get caught up too much in the nuance, and we need to kind of walk away from it. We need to get away from that. And we need to listen more and talk less. I know that sounds crazy, but maybe the reason why the show is getting so complicated and off track sometimes is because people take it there. And maybe that's why these other hosts don't interact with the audience. And I disagree with that. But Amber, I'm still me. I don't understand what you mean. I haven't changed. I've just decided that if I truly want to bring people into the fold and interact, they've got to not feel like I'm going to just hammer them to death, right? So, and I think that's a fair thing. I mean, I was thinking about it. Like, would I want to talk to Kari Lake? No. Would I want to talk to Vivek Ramaswamy? No, because I know what they're going to do. They're just going to monopolize the entire conversation. I'm not going to get a word in. And even though when people do get on, I do not do that, they don't know that. So we got to kind of get people to a state before we put them in a state. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. You are a toilet mouth. You need to get away from that.
A toilet
This is a perfect example. You just called me a place where people defecate, and somehow you're better than me.
I think it was potty mouth.
No. But even potty mouth. That's what a potty is, right? You can call it a John, you can call it a Lou, you can call it you're a Lou mouth, you're a John mouth, you're a potty mouth, you're a shitter mouth, you're a crapper mouth, you're a bidet mouth. You're still saying that I remind you of a person who defecates.
Haven't you heard the saying? It's potty mouth because you cuss a lot.
But
it's a saying.
But
it's
why
not
is
like
that saying okay? Why is that okay? And me saying you're full of shit isn't? I'm asking. Why is one okay and the other isn't? Amy.
It's just society. It's just what society has deemed as a word that's not, polite conversation in every, it's not something you would say in a office setting in like a board meeting. That's but society has dictated this. I mean, words have changed over time. I mean, look at
Right.
words that used to mean something awful that people say regularly now that are not issues. It's and also vice versa. People used to say things that were commonplace, and now it's like you cannot say that word. I mean, it happens both ways. So it's just it evolves over time. I don't stress about language. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't hear it.
But here's my question. Because this is important enough. We've got plenty of time till Kari Lake comes on. And this is important to me. Is why do you watch somebody?
Does you care about their opinion? You enjoy the content?
Okay. So that's why, like Johnny Carson. I watched Johnny Carson because I just thought he was a genius and he was a comedic gold. And whenever I wanted to smile and laugh, I watched Johnny Carson, even though some of his humor was crude. Johnny Carson was surprisingly crude. His innuendo, him and Ed McMahon were just horrendous and sexist, but I still enjoyed the content. Bill Maher, somebody who I can watch his show, and even though he cusses from time to time, I enjoy it. I like watching Bill Burr because and Dave Chappelle. But here's my point. You watch somebody because you like their opinion, but if you constantly want this person to change, you want them to do things that are different, like not have the shirt or not cuss or be a little less aggressive or be a softer, gentler, then really what you want is to be comfortable. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be comfortable. I'm not here not to be a little pissed off from time to time. I'm not here to not be emotional from time to time. I'm not here not to shed a tear once in a while or get red-faced and get upset. So although I agree there needs to be some restraint on where we go and how we get there, I think it's very ostentatious for somebody with my vocabulary, for anyone to say that because I cuss demonstrates a lack of intelligence.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
What brought this up? Did someone say something to you?
Oh my God, have you even been reading chat?
It's too hard to keep up in Facebook. I stay up with Rumble and YouTube, but Facebook freezes on me and then I miss 50 comments because it won't load. So no, I'm not up on Facebook, but I'm just wondering if somebody brought something up
every night
for
every night.
Say this
every single night in chat.
To be honest, I don't care we're married, but I think there's only 2 words you shouldn't say on the show and they both start with C. Other than that, I don't think you should change anything.
So that's totally fair.
One is for a female, one is for a male.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was only thinking of the female one, and that word doesn't bother me. And like I think I'm like the only woman in the world who is like I will call people that word.
Either, but it's in society. It's not that great of a word. So
okay, so let's get to
the 2. Other than that, I don't care.
Let's get to the comments, right? Okay. So someone says, "Well, you want to call people stupid." Okay, do you understand that there's nothing wrong with the word stupid?
Yeah.
I'm stupid often. Stupid doesn't mean you're always stupid.
Right.
Just like when you're smart, you're not always smart. Sometimes you'll say stupid things, and I've done it plenty. And if somebody says something stupid, and I'm like, dude, you're being stupid. Like, I've never called anyone a tard. Never. Not once on the show. It's a word I would never say because that is a permanent condition. But stupidity is not. Stupidity and ignorance, this is the whole thing. I called a viewer ignorant one time, and they left. They're like, I'm out of here. But my point is degradation, whether you say potty mouth or somebody's full of shit, is the same thing. All you're doing is masking how you truly feel. Why don't you just say it?
Well, if somebody is upset about one comment that they say something and you say something back, then this is not the show for them.
Why does God
but-
need to forgive me for cussing? Please, someone tell me in the Bible where one of the sins is thou shalt not cuss.
Okay, I got one comment from a longtime listener that this should end everything because it's a great comment. So
Okay.
Amy from
All right,
YouTube.
well, hold on. I got to put it on there. Hold on.
Okay.
I got Amy from YouTube.
Amy
Olivia's
Bordeaux.
taking control. She's just like, dude, enough of this crap. Amy, is it Amy Elizabeth?
Amy Bordeaux.
Oh, okay. Bottom one, I don't think.
Yes.
All right, here it is. Let's look at it. I don't. Oh, you want to read this? Go ahead. You read it.
Sure. I don't think you should change. Under attack is a rite of passage. I remember my first question in chat, and I was so embarrassed, but now I love the show. People will get over it.
I don't
Yeah.
want you to be embarrassed.
Well, here's the thing.
yeah,
Most people, when they go on a podcast, most hosts don't interact with their audience. I mean, people consider you a celebrity.
What?
Right?
No, they don't.
Some people do. I was considered, somebody called me a celebrity from NerdFap. Remember at the grocery store, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah,
talking
but you're
to
hot. That
celebrity."
guy just wants to get in your pants, and he doesn't know you're happily married.
you
That's
knew
just
I
a
was
guy
married.
trying to get laid.
No, but some people do. I'm
No,
pretty.
nobody
I'm
thinks I'm a
pretty sure
celebrity.
You do.
Nobody thinks I'm a celebrity.
But it's
Yes.
it's
They do.
also like
no, they. All right, hold on, Amy. Go ahead. No, this is a good conversation. Hold on. Go ahead, Amy.
They do. You
they don't.
you are
Yes.
a public figure, and you're on a lot of platforms. You've been growing steadily by leaps and bounds. Like a lot of people do consider you to be a celebrity. Maybe not like Hollywood celebrity, and please don't ever become like Hollywood.
Did you?
Then
want
I
my
will
autograph?
unfriend you.
I'll get it for you. No. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So Olivia.
no, it's true.
All right, Olivia. Go ahead.
so yes, some people consider you a celebrity.
Okay.
And for one, getting your name called out in a public forum, it can be embarrassing.
Sure it can.
Especially if it's somebody, like say somebody's been watching the show for a while but has never really commented. And finally they decide to comment and they look up to you and you say something that they're like, oh my gosh, it might either hurt their feelings or they might be intimidated or whatnot. Or it could be someone that has watched podcasts and none of these podcasters or videocasters actually engage with their audience.
No, none of them do.
And they don't realize that you do, and you just pick out comments randomly that you see, and they just happen to say something, and you pick it out, and they have absolutely no idea that you do that. And they could be taken off guard and not really know how to react.
Okay.
So
sorry for the mic bounce,
it's-
folks. I got to fix this.
But some people are. You're never going to get the conservative Christian audience ever because you cuss. My mom doesn't watch the show because you cuss.
Well, screw her.
I mean,
All right.
anyone who doesn't like cussing, you'll never get them.
Okay,
But
so let me ask you a question. It comes down to this: is there are times? Okay, is there anything wrong with being in an environment where it's welcoming? Is there anything wrong with that?
no.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I want to do. I want to listen. I don't want to change. I really see what bothers me out of all that is that the show has changed from what Amber said. I completely disagree. It's still the same show.
It is. It's gone up in production value, and you've added some hosts, but other than that, it really hasn't changed.
All right.
So the one thing that has changed, besides what I just said, is you are trying to watch your cussing. I mean, before it was every other word was an F-bomb or shit, or I mean, it was 50% of your show was cuss words.
We got
so
it. We know.
that would be the one thing that's changed. But a lot of people liked it when you would go off on the tangents. And
Well, and listen, and I go after trolls. All right, so let's do this. Let's promise. There's something that I always promised I would do, is that I would allow other people to field the comments. And we've tried that before, and it never works because we stopped doing it. And I think there's something special about bringing in the comments. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask that the people in chat be as welcoming as they can to other people. And if we get trolls, we know the ones. We don't. If you guys are a bunch of Nazis, Trump tarts. Fuck those people. See? Sorry. Screw those people. Actually, I accept those people for their uniqueness and individuality, but I just don't want them in my chat because they're potty mouths. So those guys are fine. But if somebody comes in and says Nikki Haley is a warmonger, see, that's my trigger. And it's not about Nikki Haley. It's that you're saying something that you can't possibly prove. I have got to stop allowing that to distract me. So let's agree to that.
Maybe do a follow-up question and say, why do you think that? And get a conversation going as opposed to immediately jumping down their shit.
All right. So here's what it comes down to. Show hasn't changed. Go and watch the old shows. It hasn't changed. In fact, the show is better than it's ever been. And the recorded shows are better than they've ever been. It's just we're trying to... You've got to grow up at some point. We've been the amateur podcast. We've been... let's go ahead and have a 15-minute audio issue and try to fix it online while everyone's waiting. We've had Olivia and I got in a tiff and now it's going to carry over to the show. Or Amy can't get her camera focused and she's going to go ahead and do her makeup while trying to focus her camera, while trying to hug and hold her kid at the same time, all the while Jason says, hurry up, I want to have sex. So we've done all that. The level of professionalism needs to increase, and being not inclusive, this isn't DEI. I don't give a crap whether you feel diverse and there's equity, but it should be a place where people can come in and have a conversation and say something, whether we like the opinion or not, and it doesn't have to be addressed. Okay, is that fair? Mm-hmm. Can everyone agree on that?
Yeah, and if there's something that I see that's a comment, or Amy or the mods, and they will bring it up to me, that's when I'll flag it and say, hey.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Amber, the rawness of the show had to change or we wouldn't be here anymore. So I don't know if you know, but the first 2 years I was suspended by Facebook was demonetizing me. They tried to deplatform me. I had to clean up my act. I had to do what I promised I would do and stick to the facts, and not play around with the unknown unless I actually said that this is unknown. By the way, sorry, my news is a day off. Nobody probably noticed it because they don't read the scroller, but the ticker, people are like, God, this sounds familiar. I feel clairvoyant. All right. So enough of this. I think we've got a good idea. And I would appreciate it if after every show, Olivia, Amy, Leroy, Mike, you guys give me my rating for the night of how I did with being a little bit more understanding, a little bit more patient. Is that fair? Okay. Amber, I've seen what you've spent in my store. For someone to bring up the shirts, just you. I hate that other people have shirts. You don't seem to mind. All right.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you whistle for Hayden, please? She's not answering her phone. And did you turn off the mic?
Yeah, I did, didn't I? Did you hear that, Amy?
No.
I don't think she did.
Yeah, I muted the mic.
I just didn't plug my ears.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell Hayden to read her text, please. Thank you. That's all we needed.
Go get him, buddy. All right, so let's get to the show. By the way, go buy some shirts at thedumbshow.com.
Yeah. I'm overdue to buy. I keep saying I'm going to buy some. I just haven't done it yet. I didn't even get my Christmas ornament. I'm such a loser. I've been begging for those for years.
It's still on there.
Ornament.
It's still on there.
We need to get our Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
You'll get your ornament. It's not a problem. Here's one thing that I do want to show you. Everyone knows. Hi, Hayden. Good to see you here. Hello. Everyone knows that they see these books, and they've seen them for 3 years, and they've sat next to me, and it used to be my handy dandy pencil. Somebody last night said, "Man, where can I get those books? I want them. You use them all the time. You always talk about them. It's nonstop. Where can I get them?" Hi, Hayden. Bye, Hayden. There you go. Merry Christmas. We now have them on thedumbshow.com. And not only do we have all the books available for your purchasing pleasure, we have all three in a wonderful collection called Documents of Freedom. And it comes with a leather-bound slip, and you can put all three of them in there. It's on the site. Individually, I think I have them for $14.99. And all three with the leather sleeve, I think it's $49.99. So not too... And now everyone's like, well, Amazon, I can get it... Okay, I can't buy things by the boatload. I literally get them like by the Barbie Jeep load, okay? So you got to be understanding. But they're available, and if you want to have your own copies, you can go over to the Dumb Show and get them. Now let's move on, since Amber is going to go buy those and then complain that we have them for sale. Amber, welcome to the show. I hope you like my rawness. Let's get to it. We got a lot to do. We have a lot to do. We've got a lot of people on. And obviously the topic is fairly decent because there's a lot of people listening. So we've got a shite ton on Rumble.
Ooh, 22 on YouTube. Holy cow.
Yeah, so people are listening.
Go to YouTube, please. We didn't get any more
Follow
viewers.
YouTube. Okay, we got to stop. We got to stop pimping this site.
New ringer?
This is interesting. Hello? Hello? Is this Susie, my Time Life operator? Hello? They left. So here's what we got going on. We've got about 20 minutes before we get to Kari Lake. And I want to hear what she has to say. Amy has a video to show us. She's going to tell us all about it. Give us a breakdown on this. I'm going to open it up right now, and then we'll give it a watch. And then, Amy, would you mind walking us through what the heck we're talking about this guy for, what's going on, and what this is all about? Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
You
here
want
it
to
is.
do that now?
Folks, nope, we're going to watch it first. Let me know about the sound, folks, and if there's any issue with sound.
Well, one of the Capital Region's biggest cases of the year, Kevin Monahan has been found guilty on all counts in the Washington County wrong driveway murder trial.
66-year-old Kevin Monahan found guilty of second-degree murder in the shooting death of 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis. Gillis was in a car with her friends when they turned into Monahan's Hebron driveway by mistake last April, and before they had time to leave, Monahan fired 2 blasts from his shotgun, the second bullet striking and killing the young woman.
Monahan's lawyers tried to blame the murder weapon, but it was Monahan's own lies the night of the killing that undermined his innocence.
Kevin, what happened up here tonight? Nothing that I know of.
After a 3-week trial, nearly 3 hours of closing arguments as well, it took a Washington County jury less than 2 hours to deliver a message.
How does the jury find the defendant, Kevin Monahan, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. Monahan facing 25 years to life in prison now when he's sentenced March 1st. The judgment day is exactly 1 week after what would have been Kaylin Gillis's 21st birthday.
Holy crap, Amy.
I'd never even heard of this.
Yeah. I had heard a little bit about it, but nothing to the extent. So educate us and let's go.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard much about it either until recently. And I was like, this sounds so familiar. And I think there's been a lot of these incidents that have happened over the last few years. In this particular case, from what I know, and this is what I understand from what I read publicly, there was a group of 20-something kids, like college-age children. I say children, they're adults, but college-age kiddos. They're going to a party. This is in upstate New York, so it's very rural up there. It was 2 separate carfuls of kids and then another friend on a motorcycle. And they were looking for the house. They had no signal on their GPS anymore, so they were blindly drive into the wrong driveway. From what I understood, the motorcycle had gone first. And again, this is all stuff that I read publicly. I don't know if it's true or not. Do your own fact checking. The motorcycle guy was like waving for the other cars to come in. This is when Kevin Monahan saw the guy on the motorcycle waving in more cars. Apparently that spooked him. And he was like, holy cow, like what's going on? So I guess he got his gun, told his wife to hide. And I guess he gave her a gun as well. And he took the shotgun and gave her a handgun. He went outside, fired a shot as a warning shot. This is, again, according to him. And then he says he was walking out on his porch and tripped or something. And then the gun went off a second time and he had a shotgun, which ultimately ended up going into one of the vehicles and killing one of the young ladies in the back of the vehicle, like instantly, like shot her right in the neck, severed her spinal cord, and like died. So it's like there were so many layers to this story, and I wanted to talk about it because we often say like, well, hey, you have a right to protect your home. And again, allegedly, this man had private property signs, no trespassing, things like that on the entrance of his home, like don't come here. So, from his standpoint, I don't know if he had some prior history of being burglarized or something. I don't know all the layers. I would love to do a deep dive on, like, just for my own personal knowledge, to know more about this man, his family, what happened to make such a response, like instead of saying, hey, what are you doing here? I'm calling the police. So I wanted to bring it up, especially with what happened. If I think it was like a 2 years ago when the young man was shot and killed, which we all heard about. And when he went to go pick up his siblings at the wrong house, and a man shot and killed that was a young guy. I think he was like 17. So
Okay, so two things real quick in chat. I've used GD 2 times on this show in 3 years, and I've apologized. I think I've said Jesus once, and I think I've said GD 2 times. And when I do it, I catch myself immediately. And I'm sure Amy's been on for all 3 times. Amy's kind of been here since the beginning. So no, I do not. I do not use the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah, and I'm not offended. I have done it myself, and I try not to use the Lord's name in vain. It's a huge no-no in my home. Like, the kids are not allowed to say, "Oh," and we're not like, that's not acceptable in my home. But people say it. It's not like, "Oh my gosh, like you're going to hell because you."
I know, but it's one that I don't do. I'm just addressing chat. It's one that I don't do. So anyone that thinks that I do that, I don't do that. So and I know what I do, and I know what I don't do, and that's something I don't do. Okay, so there's a couple things about this immediately. Olivia, did you have something to chime in on, and then because I think this is one where you probably have an opinion on, so I'll just shut up and listen to you.
Well, again, I've never heard about it until just now. But why would he just shoot if they're in cars? I mean, isn't you have a right to protect your property only if they're coming into your home?
No.
Okay. But
what state was this in, Amy?
It was in New York, upstate New York, so close to
they don't have stand your ground. Yeah. So in no way, shape, or form did he have any authority in the state of New York to shoot upon them. And there's a couple reasons why. As a shotgun is loaded with 3 types of round. You have birdshot, buckshot, and a slug. And birdshot wouldn't have done anything. It would have bounced off the car at that distance. Buckshot probably would have penetrated the glass, broken the glass, and then they would have some pellets inside them, but at the distance, the car is going to take it. Or slug will go through the car door, through the other door, and stick itself in a tree if it doesn't blow through that tree. A slug ain't no joke. And the penetrating power of a slug in a shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun, is more powerful than most rifles. I think the only thing that's going to surpass it is probably, like 500 Win Mag or 50 cal, possibly a 308. But understand, a slug has immense power. It's backloaded full of powder. It is an extremely dense projectile, and it is designed to punch through everything. And that's it. And anybody who's watched Mythbusters or Ballistic Gel Fire, if you see a slug go in, it's very damaging. So the first thing is this. If you're using a slug for home defense, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And the way it should be in a 5-pump, or if you pull the plug, you have a 3-pump, you have 5-pump, 7, whatever, or if you have a tactical shotty and you're rocking a 10 or a 12, depending upon what state you're in, you usually, depending upon, it's a 2 for 5 ratio, or a 1 for 5 ratio. So if you got 10, you might put 2 slugs in the back, you load a bird shot or 2 in the front, and you put buckshot in the middle, and you go to town. And those first 2 are spray, fire them up in the air with birdshot. You put 2 rounds up in the air, or you put 1 in somebody. It's just enough to negotiate with them to say, you come anymore, you're gonna be in a lot more pain. And then you go ahead and you unload the buckshot, and then the back 2 loads are probably slugs. And for home defense, that's a big load for a woman to hit. So when you're talking about a shotgun for home defense for a woman, you might see that they predominantly do buckshot with 1 slug in the back end of the load because you want that stopping power. It's a very dangerous round, and it's something that this lady is dead because, first of all, this guy didn't know what he was doing. His shot selection was piss poor. You don't trip with a shotgun and blast somebody. And the reason why is it probably wasn't a semi-automatic shotgun. I saw the picture of it. It was a pump action shotgun. So he had 1 in the pipe, racked it again, which means that after he fired his first one, he had to eject or pump back, eject the shell, and then re-engage the next shell in the load, which means that he had purpose to fire, or at least was ready to fire. And then he tripped and somehow got a slug that's this big and this big to hit a car. Give me a break.
Yeah.
This
He's
guy,
shot.
he deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison, or at least 20 years for manslaughter. Are they giving him manslaughter first degree? What was it?
So he hasn't been sentenced yet. I think that's happening next month. So I don't know what I think the minimum is 25 years. I think, and I'm not 100% on New York's laws, but I think for second degree murder, which is what he was convicted of, I think it's 25 to life. So I think the minimum would be 25. So he'll probably die in prison. I think, I don't know. I wanted to talk about this because I think there's so many layers to the story and there's so many like what if scenarios. And they did a ballistics test from what I understand. And it sounded a little inconclusive in court. The lady I think it was a woman who testified. I was reading it, so I didn't watch it. I think it was a woman. And I guess when she did the testing, it did misfire once, but she couldn't recall, which I don't know why you wouldn't meticulously take notes on here's when we fired it, here's how it was, here's how the setup and with photos and everything. That's a little strange to me.
Shotguns misfire. Misfired.
Right. And she said it did misfire once, but she couldn't recall if the safety was on or not. So I guess that wasn't admissible as part of I don't really know. But
yeah, guns misfire when you pull the trigger.
Yeah. I think, and plus this man lied when the cops showed up to his house.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
That's enough. This isn't a misfire. This guy, it could have been a negligent discharge, but that's still, that's
told the truth.
Listen, there's people who've had a negligent misfire, and then there's people who are waiting for a negligent misfire. There's no other two type of people. Gun safety is important, and a shotgun is a little bit different because the internal strike hammer on the pin set on a shotgun is all internal components, and surprisingly enough, it is a very light trigger pull on most shotguns, and it's designed that way. And if you bang it or slam it, it has the ability to misfire, but that's not what happened. Even if he tripped and he dropped the weapon, the opportunity for it to hit is, he was aiming down sight. I guarantee it. And the guy frickin' was an idiot and pulled the trigger. He was nervous. He was scared. After you fire your first round, your adrenaline goes. If he pumped one into the air, fine. That second shot, I guarantee, is going to be the overall fog of war and the overall calmness that starts with the first shot is usually your second shot's not the best. He had to be aiming. And that's the thing is your first shot is always going to be your best shot on any weapon, and they degrade from there.
I understand that the world has become so antisocial that when somebody calls you on your phone and you don't recognize the number, you're immediately suspicious. And someone comes into your driveway and you don't know who it is, you're immediately suspicious and scared that they're coming to attack you and rob you and kill your family. I mean, that's the first thought that goes in everyone's head when a strange car pulls into your driveway. Yeah. It's really sad that the world has gotten to that. But it's the fact that, okay, go in your house and lock the door and call the police. Or if you have to go outside, say, what are you doing? I'm armed. Please leave my property.
Right.
You have a voice. Use it. And he deserves to spend the rest of his life in jail. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Go ahead, Deeps. Go ahead.
I was going to say also the fact he says he fired a warning shot and that didn't scare anyone off. And again, I wasn't there, so I'm just going off of whatever. Yeah. So, he, I guess, admitted to reloading it and being ready to fire again, not intending to fire again, according to him. But he was ready because no one had left. And apparently the guy on the motorcycle was waving everybody up the driveway. But when the other shot went off, and I might be wrong, but I didn't hear this in any report that I read. He did not call 911 himself. He didn't say, hey, these people were on my property. I fired a weapon to scare them off. I went off twice. I misfired once. I shot once to warn them, and it misfired a second time. They ended up going away. I feel like if he was truly that afraid, wouldn't you call to report these people who tried to come on your property and attack you, and you had to use your weapon to scare them away? Like, that's how much in fear you were. But he didn't call 911. And this poor girl, they had to drive 5 miles to get service to call 911. Like, yeah. I mean, can you imagine being in that? I mean, the trauma that these kids went through, and I keep saying they're kids, they were young adults, but at 20, you're a freaking child still, in my opinion. Like, that's so traumatic what these kids went through with the poor girl who lost her life. Gillis was her last name. I forget her first name. That's terrible. I think it was Kelly. Kaylin Gillis. She lost her life, her family. I mean, what they're going through. It's just, I think he deserves to spend the rest of his life in jail for sure. I think he mishandled so many things. And, we do hear about these incidents that happen. And I think it is a case by case situation for sure. Like,
well, just the fact that he
this
lied
was-
to police,
yeah.
that right there
Yeah,
is
that's
his guilt.
He
He just
knows.
proved his guilt.
He
right
screwed
there.
up. I mean, all he had to say was, "Listen, I got spooked. I felt danger for my life." The first thing he should say is, "Listen, I want to help the investigation in any way, shape, or form that I possibly can." He should have called 911. However, at the advice of my insurance for my concealed carry and also my homeowner's insurance, I've been recommended that I seek counsel, and I would like to go ahead and use my plead my Fifth Amendment rights and remain silent. But I am 100% going to cooperate with this investigation as soon as my lawyer is present. And then shut the F up and don't talk again. Someone just asked me a question. They said, "Hey, Matt, I have two different types of bullets. I have two different kinds of bullets. Could you explain them to me?" 270 Winchester, 2.270 Winchester. That is a rifle ammo, much different than shotgun. In fact, it's solid brass. It is a type of round that you would not want to stick into a shotgun. It's like 130 grain weight. It's very heavy, and it's a beefy of a round. It's nothing close to a shotgun round. If you're talking about the next one, I'm trying to find the 12-2. The 12 stands for 12 gauge, so it's 12 gauge shotgun shell. And then the 2 3/4 is the pellet size, and those are usually in a 9, 10, or an 8 load. So it's a buckshot, and that is a perfectly acceptable home defense round. A lot of people use 3-aught or double-aught, and I believe 12-2 3/4 comes in double-aught. So one is a shotgun round for 12 gauge, and the other one is for a 270 style weapon, Winchester model. I think they have 303 Springfield uses that. There's several weapons that use 270, so totally two different types of round. One will fire and one won't. Actually, they both won't. You can't fit the shotgun shell, the 2 3/4 in a rifle, and you're certainly going to be able to fit the 270 in a shotgun, but it's not going to do anything. So it's just going to make a lot of pretty noise. Okay, cool. Does that answer your question? If I missed anything, please, one of my listeners who may know more about that than I do, could you please add some context in some nice ways and very subtle kindness coming out, oozing from your affable nature. Thank you so much. Thank you for the new welcome to the warm and friendly Don't Unfriend Me show. Okay, let's go ahead. Anyone out there want to do some baking, some Julia Childs? All right, Rumble, we're going to Kari Lake. Amy, anything else you want to say on this guy? Because I don't feel a lot of empathy or sympathy for this guy in any way, shape, or form. I think that firearm responsibility is your responsibility, and if you don't, then you're going to get in trouble.
I absolutely agree. I will just answer one. Somebody, Melanie said, if the kids had no service, then the home maybe didn't. The people who lived there didn't have service. But he did say he was trying to find his phone and couldn't locate it, and that's why he grabbed his gun first. That's what he said. Again, so
911.
I don't know. There's
works.
a lot of things that just. Whew.
Well, see, the thing is that the one thing a lot of people don't understand about cell phone towers is that the bandwidth for 911 with cell phones works differently. It will also work off radio waves, radio frequency. 911 carriers across a cell phone does not necessarily need cell towers. It doesn't need to be pinging off satellite or anything else. It can use regular radio frequency. It can use emergency band. It can actually send analog, voice to analog, or it can send analog data from the phone carrier itself and geolocation without connecting to a cell phone antenna. 911 is like, for instance, if you go into a house right now that has no cell phone service and plug in a phone and with a landline, you can dial 911 and it will work. You don't have to have a phone hooked up. You put any jack that is connected to a telephony box outside, whether it's hooked up or not, will work with 911. So now, if there are any people out there who've installed or an engineer for Comcast or Pacific Bell, would you please chime in and add your wonderful expertise on the subject? Thank you.
Pacific
This is
Bell,
great.
are they still around?
Shut up, Amy. Nobody asked you. We don't have Kari Lake on yet. I expect Kari Lake to make us wait. She's got a minute. She's usually on time. I've covered a few of her campaigns. I think the 2 3/4 is the length of the shell. 2 3/4 is length of shell. Yes. And 2 3/4 also depicts the size of the overall pellets inside and how many it can hold. And that was my point, is it can hold 8, 9, or 10, I believe. They come in different sizes. I could be wrong. Let me know. Anybody else? Thomas, I appreciate you. 2.7-inch shell length, 3-inch mag load. I use a 270 for deer. They drop instantly. Yeah. Matt's sexy voice. Ooh.
Who said that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Was it a guy or a girl?
I don't know. Probably a guy, knowing my luck. Okay, good enough. But either way. So Kari Lake is still here. So I really don't want to start the next segment, but I think we might be able to get away with it. Here, let me just check. Okay, so we can get away with it. If we have to interrupt, we have to interrupt. It's fine. Let's do this. I want to get the ladies' reaction. This is Taylor Swift. Now, everyone knows that Taylor Swift and I have a love-hate relationship, okay? We just do. And I just can't shake it off. So
here come the really tacky puns.
So I just can't shake it up. I love Taylor Swift's music. In fact, I've got 1989 is one of my favorite albums ever. Like, I think it's fantastic. And I don't care what anyone says. See, now they're going to be like, dude, you're not a man. And then I'm going to have to cuss and yell at you and call you names in order to go ahead and redefine my masculinity. But listen, I've also worn salmon shirts before, okay? I'm comfortable with who I am. I know what I can do in the bedroom. So does my wife. But I like Taylor Swift and I like her music. But as a person, I don't find her to be, you know what? I don't have an opinion. I don't care. Taylor Swift can live her life, okay? And she should. She should live her life. Ben Shapiro is upset. Now, let's just face it. Ben has been upset about a lot of stuff.
I was going to
lately.
say, he is always upset about something.
Well, he's not. Listen, I love Ben Shapiro. I think Ben Shapiro is a very smart man, but he is being a little bit, especially when it comes to Israel, it's like he's just off the charts, just like blasting people. But I want you to watch this because here's the thing. Once again, the best way I can describe it, I don't care what Taylor Swift does. I disagree. A lot of people are like, Matt, you're a capitalist. Why do you get upset at Taylor Swift? Well, because it's not about her making money. Because the guy at the restaurant who I got into it with said, you know, you can't judge somebody's morality by what they charge for a product. And I said, the hell you can't. Because there are plenty of pharmaceutical industries who we all call the devil when they go ahead and buy AIDS medicine or they go ahead and buy medicine for insulin and then charge it for $1,000. If that doesn't help you understand somebody's morality, what about toilet paper? When people were charging, $72 for 6 freaking rolls of toilet paper on eBay? You can't check their morality? Price gouging is not capitalism. So when Taylor Swift allows her concert seats to sell out and shorten her overall shows, where she charges the arenas to actually pay her for being there, when she gets these things and she holds them for ransom through Ticketmaster, and then they go ahead and charge $2,500 on the open market, and she doesn't serialize her tickets and do things to ensure that her fans don't get screwed over, that's price gouging. And you're allowing it to happen. It's just like a PS5. So that's not capitalism. Free market is free market. And if you purposely short your product, like short your sweaters so they triple in price in 2 weeks, and then mom and dads have to look at their kids during Christmas and go, hey, I'm really sorry, you might go, oh, well, that's capitalism. No, that's not capitalism. That's not stimulating the market. You're creating a shortage. You're creating fake demand for your product. And that's manipulation of the free market. So that's not capitalism. So the people who get upset about that, that's my only problem with Taylor Swift. Other than that, I don't care. Make $1 billion and have 100 roided out Kelsey babies. I don't care. But Ben Shapiro has an opinion. I want to get yours. Ladies, I've kind of told you what my thoughts are. Listen to this.
Taylor Swift. By the way,
that's really loud. So hold on.
Did it ever strike you as weird that Taylor Swift is singing the same songs that...
What game is he playing? Who's...
I know.
Guess who?
Guess who?
That is Guess
right.
Who.
So I think it's really unique. Like, we need something like that. Okay, here it is.
Be fitting for a 17-year-old girl, and she is 34 years old. Like, every one of her songs about how, like, she has a boyfriend, she broke up with him, and now she's discovering herself, and it's super sad, but it's also super happy because she's discovering herself.
I'm the problem, it's me.
Every song is about her being a teenager, and she is 34 years old. She's She's 34. I understand that our society has decided that childhood now extends all the way to Hunter Biden's age, but she's old, man. I'm sorry. 34 is not when you should be singing about how like your latest breakup is going.
Yeah, that's rough.
At the age of 34, my wife had been married for 14 years. At the age of 34, we had 3 kids, and she was a doctor already.
Oof.
Like, grow up. Like, our entire generation of people who are just, like, children. Tay, Taylor.
I got an opinion.
Yeah, I know you got an opinion, so let me just say this. Nancy, I want to say thank you for purchasing the Documents of Freedom, our first sale of all 3 books. So congratulations. I'm glad you purchased it. Usually I think it's a 24-hour turnaround. They'll ship it directly to me, possibly 48, and then Olivia and I will get it out to you. So we should have it turned around and out of our door by Friday, hopefully. If not, it'll go out Monday. So congratulations on that. Thanks for buying it. Olivia, your take.
I don't think Ben Shapiro actually listens to Taylor Swift because he has no idea what he's talking about.
Oh.
None.
Oh, you're going to go after it. Now, he is Jewish, so don't be anti-Semitic by disagreeing with Ben.
Jeez, whatever.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife hates Jews. So go ahead.
God, you're horrible.
No, that's funny.
goodness.
That's just good. That's just good quality humor. That's not cussing. Go ahead.
So I have listened to more Taylor Swift than I thought I would ever listen to in my entire life because of my teenage daughter. She idolizes her. And Hayden's idea of a fun time to spend with mom is to quiz me on every single Taylor Swift anything out there. She makes me go, she plays a song for 10 seconds and goes, what song is that? And what album is it from? And what year was it? Oh my gosh. So I know a crap ton about Taylor Swift. A lot of her songs are about infidelity. I don't remember when I was a teenager that infidelity and having affairs was that was on the top of my mind when I was 17 years old. Yeah, there's some breakup songs in there, but yeah, the debut album from when she was 16 to Midnights, which just released a few months ago, totally different. All the songs on Midnight are a little dark. There's cussing in every single one, and no, they're not all about breakup songs and being 17 and blah, blah, blah. He has no effing idea what he's talking about. Apparently, he doesn't allow his daughters to listen to Taylor Swift, because if he did, then he would actually know that.
They can all listen to Neil Diamond, though.
Apparently. But no, he doesn't know what he's talking
funny,
about.
Right?
I
listen,
mean, my gosh.
Okay, time out. Listen, if you're Jewish, you're going to get it here too. I don't care who you are. No, everybody gets it fair and square on this show. Okay, bring your Vaseline, bring your rubber gloves. You're gonna take.
Honestly, I should bring Hayden in here so she can give us her opinion.
No. Okay, so go, Amy. Your thoughts on this?
I know nothing about Taylor Swift other than what we've discussed on this show. My daughter is too young, and honestly, we're trying to we listen to a lot of Metallica with our kids and like rock and stuff. Like because
Ozzy, Rodney James Dio.
That's the road Ethan's going down.
Yeah. So they're both playing, they're both learning the guitar. So like we are playing a lot of like songs with like a lot of heavy guitar in them lately. So honestly, we're not really into like the pop music right now, but we do love pop music too. We love it all. I just don't, I know the songs that are on the radio. I don't own an album. I've never heard an album. I know very little about her. So so if what he said is wrong, I tend to believe you more. I don't think Ben Shapiro is probably a fan of her.
Obviously not. There are 2 things. One is that I've seen Neil Diamond twice. I saw him at the Forum. Yeah.
I love Neil Diamond.
What?
She said
I love Neil Diamond.
Jazz Singer is one of my favorite albums. Yeah. And
my mom had that record when I was
you want to talk about Sweet
it.
Caroline? You want to talk about Rhythm and Blue Jeans?
Yeah.
No, I know my Neil Diamond, and I get to make fun of Neil Diamond because unlike some Robin Hoods, I've got Jewish blood. And what I found from my little Groiper neo-Nazis who came on, I guess if your great-grandma's Jewish, you're Jewish too, because it's a race now, which is interesting. I thought it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. Jason just found out he was Jewish, like a lot Jewish.
You know what? Let's do some lines of delineation, because you know what? Obviously, my German family did some fornicating with some Jewish people, and that's awesome. That's great. I don't want to know how, because they came from 1940, 1938 Germany, but let's assume it was bad. But I don't care who you are. You're going to get it here. So anyway, Ben Shapiro, here's what it comes down to. You don't get to essentially call Taylor Swift a young, immature biatch. I didn't cuss. I didn't cuss. When you are being a little petulant biatch yourself. Ben Shapiro, you are one of the most intelligent people on the planet. In my opinion, I think you are a genius. Your ability to have cognitive connection towards stats is unbelievable. You remember things at a clip that most savants or people with photographic memories could achieve. He is a fantastic, articulate human being who thinks almost as fast as he talks. I think Taylor Swift is you punching down a little bit. And I understand she's worth about 17,000 times more than you and me all put together, but you're kind of punching down. Second, I'm sick of Taylor Swift. I don't want to hear about Taylor Swift ever again. In fact, 2024 should be the year of the monkey. We need to move on to the rat. Let's get away from Taylor Swift. I'm sick of her in football. I'm sick of her in politics. I'm sick of her as person of the year. I don't want to hear about Taylor Swift anymore. I just want you to write music and then just be quiet. I don't want to hear about your political opinions. And that's what I love about Def Leppard. They have never once said anything political. They just play their music and they talk about banging chicks and drinking and having fun, and that's all they talk about. And I'm all about it. Okay? Great. Kari Lake's on, folks. We got to watch Kari Lake. Now, if you don't know, Kari Lake, Jeff DeWitt, Republican, RNC, head of chair, Arizona, resigned today. Confirms the audio is real. He quit. Mel says, isn't it the year of the dragon? I don't know. I don't care. I was making it up. I don't care about Chinese astrology and bullshit. Oops. Sorry. Mel, I don't know. Is it the year of the dragon?
Here, let's find out.
God, this is going to be so painful. Like I'm going to be an alcoholic by the end of the year. If I've got to do this every show, I don't know, Mel. Let's find out together in a very inclusive Google search. All right. So Kari Lake had this tape and DeWitt essentially bribed her.
The year of the dragon.
Great. So what does that mean? Who cares? So Kari Lake was blackmailed by DeWitt. It was on tape. She's going to address it. He resigned today. He popped smoke. He's out. There was talks of car bombings. There was talk of they're going to get you. They're going to take you out. I mean, this was nasty stuff, man. Let's listen to what Kari Lake has to say. This should be interesting.
How do we keep you out? Name your price. Salary, a position. And I know
Okay, here we go.
And they may think that they won, but I know they're feeling the heat. We've got them.
That's a great point, Tuner. Pink Floyd, political band. Fleetwood Mac, political band. I don't want to hear any of them either. That's the thing, right? I just want you to play your music. I want Hollywood people to act because you have to suspend disbelief. And every time you say something stupid, and I'm trying to believe that you're a space ranger flying through the galaxy to save freedom and democracy, and I have to remember that you said something stupid about Donald Trump, it takes me out of the movie, takes me out of the song, it takes me out of the book. Like, I can never read Stephen King again because that guy is just such a sanctimonious... I can't even say it because I can't cuss anymore. Here you go.
Frying pan right now. This is true. And I know, I'm going to tell you why. Now, I can't believe this actually happened, and I wasn't sure if I was going to share it here at CPAC. I wonder if the fake news will even cover this. Something happened to me this week before I left for CPAC, and it shows how desperate these people are to stop me and to silence you. I decided to share this. It's a little bit controversial, but I'm going to put this out. Somebody showed up at my door this week. They called me before and said, I got to talk to you in person. This can't be done over the phone, which is always kind of like, uh-oh, what's that going to be about? They came to my door and they tried to bribe me out of getting out of politics. It's really happened. I'm telling you this because this is how disgusting politics is. A mom who runs for office and they're afraid of me, they tried to bribe me with a job title, with a huge salary, a position on a board. This is how they do it. And I said, are you kidding me? I walked away from a big job and a big salary. I'm not motivated by that stuff, guys. I'm not. So this person standing before me was sent at the request of some powerful people back east. They want me out of politics. But wait a minute. I thought they already stopped us. Why are they so afraid? I thought they already stopped our movement. So
Thomas Griffiths, what a wonderful contribution to the show. He says, I saw a video that Dems were voting for Haley in the hope she would win against Trump. But if she won in an election, she won and ran against Biden, they would vote for Biden. Yes, that is correct. And out of the more than 200,000 votes that were cast, the votes that actually were made up of that were only 4,000 votes in New Hampshire. And out of that 4,000 votes, 67% of them voted for Joe and wrote Joe Biden in anyway on the Republican ticket. The other, whatever that number would be, 33 or 23% voted for Nikki Haley, which wound up being 0.45% of the entire vote. It made no difference. It doesn't even accumulate to a 0.5%. So, great question. The video is true. There are a group of people who voted against Donald Trump, but the national polls don't say that. In fact, out of all the people in Delaware, 35 to 37% are independent voters. Out of that 35 to 37%, 75% of those people voted for Nikki Haley. This will be national too. She will wind up, if she goes to Super Tuesday, probably end up anywhere between 10 and 15% of the national vote. If she gets that, the music that will be in her future while following Donald Trump from behind will sound like dun 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 dun, because no president, incumbent, future president is going to give up 15% of the vote, which is an accumulated total of over 3 million votes in that category, when the last election was decided by 90,000 votes in 3 states. Does that make sense? Great. Let's watch Kari Lake. Thanks for the question. Fantastic question. One that I didn't take offense to. I'm not upset at in any way, shape, or form. Here's Kari Lake.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know.
Thomas, you're right. It's a real video. I'm not mocking you. If you watch the beginning of the show, you'll understand why I was doing it in that voice. Yes, it's real. And those 2 guys are also podcasters. So take it for what it's worth.
I'm just on God's time right now. And when I said no to this person, they didn't take no for an answer. They said, well, what will it take? What is your price? How do we keep you out? Name your price. This really happened this week. Name your price. All we're asking for you to do is to get out of politics for 2 years. Okay. CPAC, I got to ask you, do you think I should sit out for 2 years? Should we put our movement on ice for 2 years? I didn't think so. Or should we double down and stay in this? Double down. Now, I'm going to be honest. At that very moment, I wanted to sick my dog on him. But I have a pug, and it wasn't going to happen. So I said, you let your handlers back east know that I can't name a price, because there is no price that I would sell out my country for. Not $1 million, not $10 million, not $100 million. I love you right back. But I'll tell you, this tells me that they do not want my name on a ballot again. And I have a message. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And so that got me very fired up. I was packing for CPAC, and this happened, and I'm like, I'm so fired up. And then after this weekend at CPAC has a way of firing up us again, right?
So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend
This is back east. There are very powerful people who want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to.
Okay. I want you, when you hear this, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to listen to his tone. And I'm going to tell you, based upon what I always do, which is analyze, study, and give you my opinion. This is not the first time this conversation's taken place. Kari Lake knew. Deborah, thank you for your order on your dark roast coffee. Appreciate you. The recording device isn't hidden. I've done enough recordings to know. And he is way too playful, which means that Kari and him had a relationship at some point. They share too many things of, it sounds like them against the system, and he's just the messenger. It's very strange. Now, do I believe that this happened? Absolutely. It's hard for me to believe in this day and age that if somebody is truly worried about being knocked off and having a car bomb explosion, like he stated, that he would be so flippant with this information and not speak in code. You don't get to be the head of the RNC chair in any state unless you've been around the block a few times. Thank you, Deborah, for buying the books too. So to me, I think conversations happened like this, and she put the recording on there because, listen, this is political gold. This shows Kari Lake behind the scenes, and it immediately gives her a character boost. Does that make sense? It immediately pushes her to the forefront of reestablishing credibility after a year of denying the election and honestly looking pretty poorly on the national stage. Most people don't take her very seriously. Now, a lot of the right do and a lot of the Trumps do, but if you look at her overall numbers and you look at the popularity, even in Arizona, people are not too happy with it because they want her to move on. I want you to listen, and I want you to take it from the perspective of this. I want you to listen to it from Jeff's perspective. And I'm not defending this clown. This guy resigned, which says a lot to me, but I want you to change your viewpoint. We're going to Dead Poet Society and have you stand on the desk. You're going to change the way you're looking at this and not look at this through the ears of Kari Lake, but I want you to look at it through the voice of Jeff. And what would you be saying and how would you be saying it as a political strategist, as a person who lies for a living, as a person who has moved up throughout the ranks of politics and not been tarnished, that you would fall for a trap like this? I want you to look at it through his eyes. Do that for me, just so we can look at it from a different perspective. Not that we're saying your theories are right or I'm right. We're going to listen to it from that way. Okay, here we go.
Put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So, this conversation never happened.
This is crazy, though. They should want me. I'm a great candidate. People love me. These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This never happened. Don't go. Do me a favor, though. I don't get myself in trouble. If you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. It's today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. They said the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't, because I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate. Because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know it's about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
just team.
You know? But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
They want you to stay out for 2 years. But, I'm going to tell you what I can offer you. But, I said, you can do whatever she wants, talking head, this and that. So, the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So, the ask I got today from back east was, it has to stay between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her, to keep her out? And I said, well, what are you willing to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad, bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about...
Okay. Now that you've had a chance to listen to it from his perspective, I think a lot of people are going, wait a second, this sounds really wonky to me. Now I want you to look at it from Kari Lake's perspective, and I want you to assume a couple things. Let's assume that Kari Lake wants this conversation to take place. Now, there's a lot of innuendo and ambiguity here. There's no names mentioned. There's nothing specific. There's no, it's not a board, hey, you're going to go work for, Lockheed and Martin. There's no job offer. There's no money. It's literally hypothetical. Let's pretend. And there's nothing specific. Now, if that's the truth, and there's nothing specific being said, then why the talk about the car bombs twice? Why the talk about they're going to knock me off? Because you wouldn't say those things either if you're so very afraid of it. So now let's listen to Kari Lake. I've listened to hundreds of Kari Lake interviews. I've listened to hours upon hours upon hours. And if anyone spoke to her this way, she would have literally browbeat them long before this conversation. She would have crushed them. I've heard her go off on reporters. I've heard her go off on people just asking questions in the audience. I've heard candidates she's went off on, judges. Kari Lake is not shy. And in this conversation, in no way, shape, or form does she pretend to be offended, frustrated, upset. It's all very laid out and systematic. And the thing that bothers me is nobody mentioned DeSantis. I've listened to the full 9 minutes and 30 seconds. She keeps mentioning Trump. Nobody mentioned Trump. She mentions DeSantis. She's, in my opinion, this is political gold. And there's nothing here that Jeff DeWitt can be held accountable for because there is no specific. There's no bribe that took place. There's no blackmail that took place. It's just innuendo, and it's all speculation, circumstantial. This is all conjecture. Nothing will happen to Jeff DeWitt. He resigned over this. He can say, you know what, it adds validity to the conversation, but nothing's going to happen to him. So now I want to go ahead and switch roles. What if it is, and I'm speculating here, none of this is fact, I don't know. What if the opposite is true and Kari Lake came up with this concoction and her and Jeff DeWitt are very, very close after running an election in Arizona, after going through several trials where he has been involved and been a character witness, at least from a deposition standpoint, and says to him, listen, you're going to get out of here. You're leaving anyway. Why don't you go ahead when you resign? Why don't we go ahead and make this little tape? This will restore my credibility. Is it possible? Because remember, this is the woman who claims that the election was stolen from Donald Trump and a massive conspiracy took place, that her election was stolen and massive conspiracy took place. So therefore, if we are to believe that other people can do those things, then why would we not go ahead and put her under the same microscope? I'm just asking questions. Let's think about that when we listen to the rest real quick. Amy, Olivia, I'll be kicking over to you in just a sec.
The final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. I always believe that. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end.
And I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting him do that. I owe it to the people of...
Nobody. Okay, folks, nobody is Captain America. I promise you that if you had a microphone somewhere around me at one point when I was talking about my audience, there are times I would say things that you may not like. Nobody is this loyal to their constituents. It's just this, it's almost so fake that it can't be real. Because Kari Lake hasn't demonstrated any of these type of behaviors outside of politics. And I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm not saying she's evil. But to me, this is almost so... and she's saying things knowing that it's recorded. She knows... Remember this. There's only one person who knows they're being recorded right now that we know of, and that is most assuredly Kari Lake.
Well, yeah, he's quieter. She's much louder, and it sounds like it's probably the phone is in her pocket or something like that.
No, it can't. No, it's not in her pocket. It's like it could be under a table because she's eating, right? So it's laying here, and she's obviously moving around and adjusting. But the point is that there's only one person who knows they're being recorded at this point. And every analysis that I've ever done of message traffic, radio traffic, flash traffic, whatever it is, listening to foreign governments talk, listening to dignitaries talk, listening to bureaucrats talk, politicians, billionaires, generals, terrorist groups, is that when people know they're recorded, they always say the right thing. She knows she's being recorded. So we don't know if this is a true account of what took place, but it sounds great because Kari Lake knows she's being recorded. That's the one thing we know for sure. We know that for sure, that she knows she's being recorded. So anything she says has to be suspect. But what she does know is that she's recording this with the intention of using it if she needs to. And what better way to do that than use this to launch off your Senate campaign that you are uncorruptible, that you cannot be bought, that you are an altruistic candidate. And you know what? All of this may be true, but she is playing a part right here. And anyone who can't see that hasn't really put the pieces together. So it's important to show. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not saying this didn't happen. What I'm saying is she knows she's being recorded and everything she says is suspect. That's important to understand. Does that make sense? Great.
Or to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battle is right now, Jeff.
You pause and refill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not.
You are, if you want her to stop for 2 years, dude. Come on, Jeff.
You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them.
How much does this woman eat? I mean, seriously, dude. I mean, she's like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Brad Pitt eats in every movie. I mean, she's just, and first of all, it all sounds like processed foods. I don't know how she keeps her figure. Because
it sounds like bag of chips or something.
Chips. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like chips or an oatmeal cookie or, something. All right.
And they're sitting around people that have stuff to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. I've been on the outs for a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs.
Sorry, it's so loud. It's her
in 2
audio.
years?
It's her audio, not mine. I'm sorry.
They steal the election again.
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
We the people. Anybody that's talking in third person, I mean, it's just so. But see, here's the problem: is that the people who want to believe this will believe it, and the people who don't want to believe it won't believe it. But nobody can say, you know what? There's a little bit of truth and a little bit of lie in this on both sides, and that's where we need to get to. It's not about riding a fence. It most assuredly is wrong, but so is using it for political fodder and playing possum, right? And this was designed to be used for campaign clout. Okay? It's obvious.
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest fucking pain in these people's ass. And go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their fucking ass.
I mean, I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to fucking kill me to stop me.
I know. Look. And
You don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will. But
Nah, I don't think that's the way they are.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm
What
just
would that
going to...
entail?
That would entail not
All of
telling...
them-
Layman's telling me, you got to distance yourself from Trump. I know, you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for the betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run.
I'm telling you that's what
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't give a shit about our country.
Do you understand that? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
If
that.
you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out so
It's not
bad.
about Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's about you. It's not about Trump.
I'm gonna.
It's about you. It's not about Trump. Some people that are in on this. I know.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win, and why don't they get behind me?
I just have a question for Olivia and Amy.
Mm-hmm.
If Arizona is rigged and the deep state is controlling the election, how can she win in Arizona?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
So if she truly believes that the election is stolen, then how can she win in Arizona?
Good point.
Yeah.
Did she not just discredit her entire year right here by saying, tell them I can win? So it's a winnable race now. I thought it wasn't. I thought it was rigged. See, this is why I should have been a prosecutor or a detective. Because everything she just, all you got to do is figure out one lie. And then you get to question the entire credibility of this recording. There's the lie. She has ran for a year that the election was stolen. It was stolen from Trump. It was stolen from her, but she can win this time. Why? What's changed? And that's the question I would ask her in an interview. Miss Lake, you said that you could win now. Please tell me what's changed from 2022, 2020 till now, where you could actually win your race. Amy, go ahead.
Well, I'll start with, I tuned in last night as you guys were leaving and you played this recording. So I heard it last night with that. And when I was listening to it last night, I immediately just felt like this whole thing just felt off to me. Like nothing seemed real in it at all to me. I understand that she knew she was being recorded, or she was recording it, so she knew what she was saying. But when you were talking about like maybe they had a conversation prior to this to say, hey, you're planning to retire or something, or whatever, that sounds accurate after listening to this again. There's so many things that just are lining up too perfectly or that are not making sense at all, that because of, like you said, the election fraud that she's been going on and on about forever. Like there's too many things in this that just I don't like. The whole thing is giving me just, it's way off. Something is wrong with this whole thing. I don't even know if I can pinpoint. There's so much. There's more than just one to pinpoint. And I like Kari Lake. She's not my favorite person. I like her less after like all the election fraud stuff. I liked her more before that. But this really makes me think so much differently of her. Like, if you're willing to put this out as like, oh, look what they did. Look what they did. Mm-hmm. I'm this great politician. I'm here for the people. I'm here to work for you. I don't know.
Nobody would say, we have to do this for we the people. Oh my, seriously, dude. This reads, you know what this reads like? Like an after school special, like Jenny ate something. You know, that's what this is like. This is like Jenny blew her lunch. And
also everybody has a number.
Right. Right. Everybody has a number. All right, let's listen. Listen, once again, not saying this didn't happen. What I'm saying is question everything. Ask the why. Ask the why. And we already found out that she literally just completely backpedaled on her entire narrative for a year. So we got her in a lie. And if she can lie about one thing, why can she lie about two? Can she lie about three? This is where integrity comes in. This is why I am such a sanctimonious ass sometimes. It's because I don't lie to people. And I stand by my word. Like, I would love to try to have somebody dox me or lumor me. Please do. Good luck. Let me know how it works out.
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. This was your name on the ballot. And I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good.
She just plugged the book.
By the way, you can find that book on KariLake.com, Jeff. He's like, I know. I what? What do you mean? By the way, folks, you can dial my new phone number, 976-BOOK, and you can purchase it. And if you go ahead and buy it, you get a free 1-year subscription and a free set of steak knives.
Their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought?
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
See, this is perfect. And I'm letting you know officially right now, this is staged. 100% with no equivocation. This is staged. And it's on that right there. The questions, she's already made it adamant and clear. And this is called begging the question. How I know it's fake is because the elevation of consequence isn't increasing with the intensity of her saying no. Do you understand? There has to come a point where her no's will resonate because of her temperance, because of her tenacity, because of her frustration, and she is not elevating, and he is not making more tenacious and energetic attempts by saying, okay, you know what, we're just going to cut this down. We're going to give you $100 million. And this is going to be deposited in a Cayman account, offshore, split up in multiple bearer bonds, and get 3.5 points of interest annually.
Yeah, because I didn't hear, I mean, usually when you're trying, I've never been blackmailed and never blackmailed anyone, but I would think, just saying from the movies, that usually, okay, they want me out for 2 years, so what do I get? I mean, he's not even telling her anything that if you do this, this is what you're going to get. There is no... There's no crime here. That's how you know this isn't anything. It's because, folks, it's like listening to a murder and say, I'm going to show you a murder, and yet you don't hear anyone die. There's no blackmail here. Even if this is fabricated, it's just good TV. It's like a good campaign commercial. The only thing he says is...
They could investigate this. The police could investigate this. And you know what they would say? This is all supposition. This is all conjecture. It's inadmissible in court. It's an illegal recording. In the state of Arizona, you have to notify the person that you're recording them. Otherwise, it's inadmissible in court. All of this, none of this would hold up in court. Olivia, go ahead.
The only thing he said is they want you out for 2 years.
That's it.
I mean, there's no blackmail.
And
there.
why? And why 2 years? What does that matter?
Yeah. What does it matter in 2 years?
Especially for a Senate seat that's 6 years. Especially a Senate seat that's 6 years. So why sit out for 2 when I sit out for 4? What? It doesn't make any sense. So it's just too convenient. Let's listen to the rest because we got to get out of here at 9 o'clock no matter what.
10 million, 20 million, 30, no. $1 billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is...
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who lost ran in and won? I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our fucking country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
I mean,
I can win, and they should get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight? No.
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
It's, I think,
It is being bought. No. They are trying to buy me out of running. It's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice.
Here's the thing. This isn't that hard. Here's what you do. Kari, we invite you to the RNC headquarters in Phoenix. You bring her in, you sit her in front of the overall chairs and the head of the RNC party. You bring in the current Republican seat holders, whoever they would be, and former lieutenant governors, governor, any Republicans who are still alive, and you sit them in the table too. And they map out a strategy and say, Kari, you're not going to have the funding of the RNC for your election. We believe that your numbers are too soft. However, here is what we're going to do. And you lay out a proposal and you get the same result. You don't need to send some obscure guy who is speaking in frickin' code, who has no names, no figures, no substance at all. Because here's the thing, and just remember, focus on the why. If in the worst case scenario that this went public, who would be held accountable for what charge? There isn't one. There is nothing. The only thing that can happen with this call is that Jeff would have to be resigning from the RNC. A possible investigation would open up, and Kari Lake would immediately be propelled as the great white hope for the Republican Party. This is a deep throat tape. This is something that is released to either crush a career or aid a career. And this is one of those things that aids a career. The only person who benefits from this tape is Kari Lake, period. I don't know if there's any more to her, but once again, I wouldn't be at CPAC talking about this.
Happy about that. So,
but I know there's
all here, and we care deeply about.
Let's see what it says.
We're all here, and we care deeply about our country. We're trying to save our country right now, and so I'm glad that you're joining us. We decided to put this on Twitter as well. We didn't even let anybody know, but we're really happy about that. So, hey, what's going on? Nothing happening in the world, right? We just got back in Arizona, the amazing state, the most amazing, beautiful, and sadly corrupt state, in my opinion, in the country. We were in New Hampshire helping.
Melanie make a great point. Melanie says, so he is a young guy. Why would he do that? For the same reason that an older woman would supposedly take money not to run. If you're going to buy the bait and switch and the carrot that this is real, then you have to ask the question, isn't it possible that the roles are reversed? This guy is going to resign. He is going to do something else and is willing to resign from his position because maybe he's not happy with the RNC. Maybe he's doing poorly. Maybe his job sucks. Maybe because Arizona went freaking blue. I don't know if anyone remembers what happened for the last freaking 3 cycles in Arizona, but it went blue. You don't get to keep your job for very long. So maybe he's feeling the pressure. Maybe they're telling him, giving him the high sign. So he goes up to Kari Lake and says, listen, I'm gonna pump the brakes and get out of this while I can. I'm gonna resign. How about we make this tape that's really obscure, that has no charges on it. It just makes subtle innuendo. It'll make you look good, make me look good, and I'll go ahead and take $100,000 for that. You don't know, because crazier things than have happened. I have a harder time believing that there's mafiosa style hit people out there who are going to kill candidates for talking And somebody is literally going to sound like Captain Steve Rogers, Captain America, when there's a recording that she's on and expect it to be authentic when she's the one doing the recording. Anyone is going to try to sound magnanimous when they know they're being recorded, okay? Let's just bring it back. All right, here we go.
Do a little stumping for President Trump, because we got to turn this country around, guys. We have got to bring our country back and bring our government back to we the people. And so on our way back, we decided, literally on our way back on the plane, we said, we're getting inundated with people who are asking questions. They're asking.
Let me just go ahead and say this, and I have to do it. Amy, I'm sorry. Amy's rolling her eyes and she wants to cut me.
Me? No.
Oh, you should, because I'm being annoying.
Oh. No.
Let me ask you a question. If Kari Lake was announced by Donald Trump that she was going to be the vice president, what do you think everyone would say? This changes the narrative. This completely changes the narrative. Now, in 45 days, he can go ahead and announce Kari Lake, and people are like, oh, Kari Lake? National news won't be that she denied an election for a year. The national news will be that she stood up to the swamp, that she stood up to this. Puts her back in the limelight. This puts her in national news. You know what? This supposedly happened, yesterday? And she already has a freaking conference going on. She's got the makeup going on. She's got the film crew there. She was reading from a teleprompter on CPAC. This all seems very much like a freaking stage rehearsal for VP to me, because here's the thing. This looks like a movie premiere. Mm-hmm. She's on 3 different platforms already. She's on Twitter, she's on Rumble, and she was at CPAC telling this story, and it hasn't even been out for 24 hours. That's an interesting thing, don't you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think too. I mean, honestly, like, why else is this coming out? And it's just, the whole thing's so fishy, but I don't see Donald Trump picking her as VP.
No, I don't either. Donald Trump knows what he has to do. Donald Trump is trying to decide who's going to give him most of the moderate votes. And he's literally going, okay, Kristi Noem, maybe. Sarah Sanders can't do it because she's in Arkansas as governor, and they have rules against that. And she didn't change the rules like DeSantis did. And he's going, all right, well, now I got to make a decision. Do I look at Nikki Haley? Because she's going to bring me the most moderate votes, and there's nobody even close. Is it Ben Carson? He's going to bring me a lot more minority votes, and the women vote, and having a black man up there destroys the Nazi bullshit and white supremacist stuff. So this is what he's doing. I don't think Kari Lake is being considered in any way, shape, or form. I don't believe that Kristi Noem is really being considered. I don't know. There's too many people who don't bring him what he needs, which is the middle and bringing the independents and moderates to his fold. That's the problem. All right, let's listen to the rest real quick.
Oh, my microphone might not be there. They're asking questions about what's going on with this whole recording that has been put out there in the media. And the media has been reaching out saying, we want to do interviews. And I said, there's only one of me. There's only so many hours in the day, and I can't do all the interviews. So we decided to do a Rumble Live and now Twitter Live, and we want your questions. So ask us your questions. We are going to start with the first question. Are you getting any questions?
Moving stuff. I have one. There's so much.
She wouldn't answer the question if I put it up there. Because I already sent it in. And my question was simple. Miss Lake, can you please explain to me how the election is winnable in 2024 when it wasn't winnable in 2022 and 2020? So are you saying the election wasn't stolen? Question mark. That's not going to get asked.
No, it's not.
So much coming. I've got Colton over here helping me out.
Okay, I've got a.
I said, Colton. Colton. No one's going to join us. The media wants to talk to us. He said, no, we're going to go live to the people. And he was right. He said, we're going to take that filter out from the media. The media always will put their own filter in. I just did an interview with the fake news.
Okay, I have one that says, Kari, it moves so fast. Who told Jeff DeWitt to bribe you?
Who told Jeff DeWitt to bribe me? I don't know. I wish I did know. As a matter of fact, I've thought about it many a day since then, and I've laid awake at night wondering who it could have been, what group, what person. But isn't it sad that you could literally, for 24 hours, think about it, wonder, guess and that our government is so corrupt. Washington, D.C., the people back east, as he said, is so corrupt that you could literally probably come up with a list of about 400 or 500 people and groups that are behind this. And that's the sad thing. And this is why I am getting into politics. I'm in politics. This is why President Trump is in politics, because we want to make sure that we root out that kind of corruption. We can't have that kind of corruption happening in Washington, D.C. And frankly, it starts in Washington, in D.C., and it moves down into capitals across the country, into the state houses, into the municipalities. And what happens is,
so let me make sure I make sure I understand this. This was recorded just recently. So let's just say it's been 5 days. So you've laid awake at night for 5 whole days over this. And that's being really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, folks. This has nothing to do with Kari Lake. This could be our savior up on high. JC could come down and I would ask questions. Ames, Liv?
The one thing I noticed about the recording was that whenever she wanted to make an emphasis on something, she stopped chewing the chips.
Yeah.
And it got clearer.
Oh, yeah.
Her voice got
completely.
louder and
Yeah.
it got clearer. But then on other parts, it was all of a sudden it got really muffled and she was getting chips out of the bag or whatever and chewing and blah, 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 blah. So that's the one thing I noticed about it.
Correct. Yeah, it's a really good point. And once again, she knew she was being recorded. So, of course, anything she says has to be circumspect. Ames?
Yeah. I just think, and maybe she's not going to be picked for VP, but she is vying for some kind of position in the cabinet for Trump. Obviously, she wants to be a part of this big time. I still feel like the whole thing just sounds so fishy. And gosh, the more I listen to her right now, I'm like, ugh, this feels so gross to me. The whole thing feels gross.
Wait till I look at her eyes. Wait till I find out her tells, because I'm studying this, and I'll tell you her tells in 2 seconds. Let Him Cook
She
says
looks well
her eyes are
rested for being up all night.
Yeah, she also Let Him Cook has a good point. He says her eyes are locked in on one point from the moment. That's absolutely true, and that's usually deceptive. So either someone breaks eye contact completely or locks in and fixates on one spot. And the reason why is that your eyes will fluctuate. Your pantomime, especially in a woman. Women have 20, 23 pantomimes that are prominent when they are communicating. Men are a little bit less. They're, surprisingly enough, a little less complex. Their emotional complexity is less than women. I think we all understand that. But watching her facial features, watching her eyes, watching the lack of movement going into the creative portions of her brain or going into the more of the collective and the cerebral parts of her brain where her memory is stored, her eyes are transfixed. Now, this is also, please, I want to also give her credit that she is a news person and she has been live behind a desk for multiple, 10, 12, 13, 14 years. I don't even know how long it was, maybe even 20 years. So she knows how to reduce eye movement. This is a trained thing, but she also knows how to be very deceptive. So there will be subtle tells that she'll have that will be consistent and it will kind of tee off. You should watch for them. But once again, I also want to defend her, and she's a professional, and that's why she's locked on the camera. She's done this her whole life. She's practiced and she's good at it.
You know what? What made me kind of giggle in this thing, the live thing, is that who's ever in the background who's watching the comments said 3 times in a span of like 30 seconds, oh, they're going so fast. There's so many comments. They're going so fast.
Yeah.
Why would you say that multiple times?
Well, I think it's because he's probably the social media guy and he's the marketing guy, and that keeps his job going. I mean, to be honest, how many times do you say that to me? Oh my God, Matt, we got 250 people on, right? I mean, it's an exciting thing for them, but I don't know. It very well could be a tell, but let's watch her face.
And immediately they get bribed, they get blackmailed, and they become controllable. And this is what's wrong with our country. Got another question?
I got another one. Was this the first time that something like this has happened to you?
Oh boy, I don't even want to answer.
So if you take a look, she went up to the upper left quadrant of her brain, which is the memory cortex, right? So that's a standard look for people who are trying to recollect something. You'll notice that you're going to see her eyes do one of 2 things. She's closed her eyes at this point. So now she is resetting and she's grabbed her memory, and now she's going to bring it to the forefront of her brain and then engage her mouth. Now, there could be a pause after this. And if that pause takes place, it will be her looking down and more of the creative cortex of her brain. If that takes place, then you know she's trying. It is a sign that she's being deceptive, at least from a consistency standpoint. We don't have really a control here, but You saw her right there. Now we have that information. We know what she looks like when she's trying to recall something. Let's see if she does the creative thing or if she locks her eyes back and then goes ahead and tells something that's accurate and honest.
This because when I got in
See the eyes?
politics, it became so corrupt. I mean, I worked in media. The media is really corrupt right now. They're pushing propaganda. This is why I walked out of my job. I walked out of a 7-figure contract because I said, I don't want to be part of a corrupt cabal. I don't want to be part of pushing propaganda. And actually, I've never told this.
There it is. There's your creative. So now you've got her creative. Now you've seen her tells. Now we know what she does. And she's good, but she ain't that fucking good. I've seen people who lie 10 times better than her, 100 times better than her. So here comes the creative story.
I don't even know if I should tell it. Should I tell that story? After we won the primary in the governor's race, there was an individual who'd been supportive of us, and we were really happy about it. And we asked him to become more involved in our campaign. We were really happy to have his support. He was a man who had been quite successful, and he wanted to start a PAC for us.
So another tell. She, for the first time in the conversation, is people, when they're being deceptive, they'll do a couple of things. Let me show you the difference. Olivia, I love you more than anything else in the world. So my head is doing this when I say that. Or I could say, Amy, I love you more than anyone else in the whole wide world. There's a difference. My head is moving from side to side to side. Now, the interesting thing when it comes to the motor skills of the brain is the further detached from your brain, your body, like foot tapping or your hands, will do the opposite of what your head will do. And the reason why is the way the inner cortex works and how it processes with synapses. So when somebody is being deceptive, you might actually see body motion that will be opposite of what a yes would be or a no would be, depending upon how far away it is from the brain, because the mirror synapses can take place. So when she's moving her head yes like this, that's usually a sign that somebody is engaged, trying to get you to accept the truth of what they're presenting to you, because it is. And when they're doing the subliminal no, they're trying to not only convince you, but convince themselves that they're doing a good enough job. But by her using her feet and bouncing back and forth, that actually could be considered to be a no based upon her body movements. So let's watch. Now you've got 3 things to watch: the up and to the left, the down and to the right, and the rocking back and forth. If these things also combine with other things she says that seem to be creative or deceptive, now you have a premise. Now you have a control, and you can compare it to the rest of the conversation. So let's watch.
Wanted to give some money to a PAC. For those of you who don't know, because I'm kind of new to politics as well, PACs will spend money running commercials for you and ads that will help propel your message or maybe expose what's going on with your opponents. And this individual was willing to put $1 million into a PAC. And I said, that's wonderful. Thank you. We're really happy. This is a grassroots campaign. If somebody has means and they want to put money into helping us get elected so we can save Arizona, we love it. And about 24 hours later, I got an email from this person who...
Here's the rocking, and now the no. The head shaking is happening. Degradation, right? You start off with a lie, and the deeper you go, the worse it gets. Not saying she's lying, but she's showing behavior to me that is deceptive because it's not her normal. The premise that we had is that she's firm, she's resolute, and she hasn't moved and locked eye contact. Let Him Cook pointed that out. Now we're starting to see some differences, especially when we saw the eye movement, right? Going to the creative portion, going to the memory, going down to the creative portion. Now we're seeing the rocking. Now we're seeing the body signals and the pantomimes that are saying opposite of kind of what she's saying.
His asks.
Danny, that's fine. You can say that what I'm saying is not 100%. You're more than welcome to call in and challenge it. I'm open to all challenges.
His asks, and he said, well, if I'm going to do that, I have some asks that I demand of you. And these asks were really outrageous. They were basically, you can't be around MAGA type people. You can't support President Trump. You can't support other MAGA candidates. And listen, I wanted to get the whole slate elected, and I wanted to bring our movement over to everybody who was running on the Republican ticket. I wanted everybody who was Republican to win. And so I said, I can't agree to those asks. And we literally said, thanks, but no thanks. And somebody who had been in politics for a while and who was on our campaign said to me, I've never seen anybody in the history of my time in politics who said no to $1 million because they didn't want to do a few simple things. But I didn't think it was simple to say I'm willing to turn my back on President Trump. I'm willing to turn my back on other Republican candidates. I'm not willing to take somebody's money with a whole bunch of strings attached. So that was one example. There's been probably others that I can't think of right now. But when President Trump calls Washington, D.C. the swamp, he truly means it. It is swampy, it's disgusting, and it's corrupt. And I just had a little something dropped in my office here, and we want to.
All right, so here you go. So sometimes when someone says you're not saying something correct, it's important to me to understand is that I will change the way things are said in order to reduce steps, because you don't want to lose everybody. Visually constructed, up and to the left. Visually remembered, which is way her eyes, her left to right. Visually remembered is up and to the left. Up and to the right is visually constructed. Verbally constructed is off to the side. Verbally remembered is off and to the right. Kinesthetic is down, and then auditory digital is to the right. That's what people say about vision. In the simplest amount of terms, depending upon eye movement, it's very difficult to decide somebody who's demonstrating insecurity or somebody who is demonstrating awkwardness or somebody who is having a hard time remembering. It's really easy to see which quadrant of the brain is being accessed. And auditory, visual, or kinesthetic, it means little to me because I am not an expert at reading everybody's body language, but I am pretty damn good at noticing the basic signals. So when somebody is going to the left portion of their brain like she is accessing a creative portion of her brain. And when she is looking down and the way she is accessing other portions of her brain, depending upon the right or left side. We just established that. When we say that something isn't correct, we have to be specific. So if you want to call in, let's do that. I've got the number. Or if you want to go ahead and just write out your comment, we can do that too. But once again, if something isn't accurate that I say, I would expect you to hold me accountable by being very specific on what I'm not saying that's accurate. Thanks.
Change that.
I've got a lot of people are asking, are you worried for your safety?
I have been worried about our safety, but this comes with the territory right now. We're in an era right now where the world is very dangerous. When we were on the campaign trail for the governor's office, I laughed because my team would say, "Are you kidding? You have another slashed tire?" We'd go in and we'd have a meeting of 400 or 500.
So I don't care what her facial features are. You have the hottest scoop in the country. And you're talking about the past. I don't care what the questions are. And I would only pick questions that are related to this topic. There's a reason why the media is not there. Because the questions that need to be asked aren't going to be asked by people who believe into this. That's the problem I have. You've got to freaking say every question should be about this recording. Because if this is, you're burying the lead, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense to me.
People, Arizonans, who are happy to see us.
Linda says, what makes him an expert on body and facial language? He's a fraud. That's fair. Normally I would respond. Let me go ahead and give you my resume. Is that okay?
Would you like me to say it, or do you want to say it? Well, you know your resume better.
You can
than
do.
I
You can tell my resume. Go ahead.
Well, he worked in military intelligence, and this was his job. He was trained to do this.
That's weak. Let's not do that. Let's do it more officially than that. Mm-hmm. So I've worked for 3 counterintelligence agencies and alphabet agencies. I worked for the United States Navy as an intelligence specialist with 3 C schools. I've done advanced interrogation. I have worked as a GS position for the private government outside of the military for a period of another 4 years. I have interviewed over 30,000 people for Fortune 15 companies, including Apple, Wexler Brands, and NBC Comcast, Xfinity. You may have heard of them. On those 30,000 people, I have had teams ranging anywhere from 300 to 10,000 employees. I have had over 300,000 customer service interactions in my career. I have sold over $47 million in retail goods myself. I have worked on $2.1 billion P&Ls, and I have been responsible for all of that within the 25 years of my career. I am a purveyor of people. I have been running a show for 3 years. I am a study. I don't know about a savant, but I'm pretty good at understanding and predicting what's going to happen based upon climate, based upon the past, based upon things that have been predicated upon history. I consider myself well-read. I consider myself to be, once again, somebody who's fairly decent in what they do. So when you say I'm a fraud, I would appreciate you maybe calling in, and let's see if you can go ahead and tell me 5 lies. And then you can go ahead and tell me 5 truths. And let's see how I do. 804-212-2208. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Okay? How was that? Did I yell? Was I disrespectful? No. Okay, great. All right, here we go.
Would join into us.
Oh, and I find people who usually work for terrorist cells or have a job at being deceptive in order to get into our country or harm a unit or harm civilians, and being able to analyze those people to be fairly easy when it comes to somebody who is not being honest on a streaming platform. Not much of a challenge.
And we would basically come back out, and we would get in the car, and we'd start driving down the freeway, and our tire would be flat. Our tire would go flat immediately. We would get the warning. We had that happen.
Yes, Mary Jo, I owe them an answer because they're watching the show and they need to understand and establish credibility.
Times. So I've recently gotten emails telling me that they want to take me out, neutralize me. I've had threatening phone calls, but it comes with the territory. We're not living in normal times. We're living in dangerous times. And when people threaten you, they're trying to stop you. And why are they trying to stop you? Because you are effective, because you are making a difference. And as I said in that video, and I hope that many of you had a chance to see it, they will have to kill me to stop me. I am a mother. And if you're a mom out there, raise your hand, let me know you're out there. If you're a father out there, we've all seen those videos where we see dads and moms over the past where you see them like lifting a car's rolled over a child, and literally you see like 2 dads and a mom or 3 dads lifting a car like they have superhuman strength. And that is that energy and that certain thing that we have inside of us when we become parents that we have to save and protect our children. And I have that inside of me right now, and I am willing to do anything and everything to save this country. Because saving this country, I'm going to be honest, I'm being selfish. I want to save it for my children, but I also want to save it for yours and my future grandchildren.
This isn't a question, but this is.
Sounds like a campaign speech to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Danny, I noticed you didn't call in. I wanted to hear what I got wrong. I just want to get, I've been very rude to Olivia and Amy on this, and I want to get your thoughts and what do you think?
Why don't they run flat tires on the car? I'm sure they drive some German vehicle that has run flats. I don't know. Just curious. My take is I don't buy any of this. I don't know. The whole thing, like I said, it gives me just the grossest feeling. This entire thing, from the recording to the CPAC speech to this live interaction, I don't like any of it. And again, I don't dislike Kari Lake. I liked her quite a bit until she started really harping on like always the election fraud. And I was thinking when she was talking, I'm like, what does Donald Trump have on her? What does he have on her? He's got to have something incredible because she blows rainbow and sparkles up his hoo-ha all the time. Like, it's a little
hoo-ha.
much. Or whatever
I don't
he's
know.
got.
I have no idea. She could. Well, there's people out there who think he's God.
Yeah.
And I certainly like Donald Trump, and I want to see him back in office, but I don't think he's God, and I certainly don't think he's been appointed by God. And it doesn't matter. The question is, where's the FBI?
Mm-hmm.
If the FBI is weaponized against Republicans, don't you think them arresting the RNC chair probably would be in their repertoire? Don't you think tapping phone lines would have worked? Don't you think FISA warrants right now? Don't you think seizing the records of all RNC charters and all RNC headquarters across states, all 50 states right now, that every FBI local office would be raiding these areas? Don't you think that they know that this is going on? Don't you think this would be an open investigation? Don't you think they would be weaponizing the Justice Department against Republicans? Because that's the narrative, right? Seriously, folks, just think. Just think. Why does she have a phone? Why isn't she being deposed right now?
Yeah.
Why isn't she in witness protection? If her life is in danger and they threatened her in not so many terms, then why aren't the U.S. Marshals have her in a hotel right now under complete protection right now? Why? You were just threatened by one of the most powerful political parties in the United States. And there's no, what? I thought, like I said, wouldn't the FBI be all over this? Liv, your thoughts?
One, I think she's got way too much makeup on, and two, she does. She's way too much makeup. She just sounds very disingenuous. She doesn't sound
disingenuous. Sorry,
disingenuous. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She just sounds fake, and you're right. Sounds like she's running a campaign, and I don't know.
I haven't heard Donald Trump say a word about this. Why hasn't Donald Trump said, "Hey, did you guys hear what happened to Kari Lake? Did you hear what the RNC is doing? This is what they did to me in 2020."
He would totally use it.
Yeah,
too.
he would use it. So just some little things to think about. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't have any loyalty to these people, and either should you. Just ask the question. Just ask the why. All right. I don't think there's much more to this. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit and just see if there's any more, and then we'll go.
I need to make a quick shout out to someone real quick.
Do it.
I need to say hello from all the dummies to Betsy Bordeaux, is Amy's mom, and apparently she didn't like the show at first, but
She
now
didn't like
she's
it.
her first watch. She didn't
was
like
it you?
it.
You didn't like Olivia, Betsy? I get it. I don't like her either.
But now she's a loyal.
Why didn't
listener.
she like it? Did you find out?
No.
We'll find out. Amy, why did you like the show?
No, it's Amy's mom.
I know. Amy, why didn't she like the show? Number is unavailable. Hold on. I'll get the number on.
So anyway.
All right, Danny,
hello,
go ahead and
Betsy.
call again. I'll reopen it. Go ahead and call. It's open now. All right, let's yes, and Beverly, thank you for watching.
Betsy.
Betsy, Beverly, whatever. Start with the B. I got the B right. That's huge for me.
That's true.
Because we have an opportunity to take back a Senate seat. If we can get the majority in the Senate, then we can make sure that when President Trump wins, that his policies that are going to secure our border right here in Arizona will be enacted.
All right, Danny, what did I get wrong? Give it to me straight.
Well, you fixed it.
What do you mean I
I
fixed?
spoke too soon. You should have just waited till you finished.
Oh, what did I fix? I don't think I fixed. Did I fix something? Did I backpedal? What did I say?
No, you didn't backpedal. You forepedaled.
Oh, well, tell me what I said.
Well, it was when you were talking about Kari Lake with you think she's lying or
deceptive.
Whatever,
She's being deceptive. Yeah.
Your training all tells you these things but it's not 100%. That's what my comment was.
Yes, sir. You're
not
right.
100%.
Which is why I use the word deceptive, and it shows that she's being deceptive, which isn't lying. And people can be deceptive. Right. I mean, there's people who have something hidden because it's very personal to them. You know, rape victims are deceptive during interviews, interrogations. People who are, alcoholics or drug users or have something that's in their closet they don't want anyone to know can be deceptive. It's just, once again, it's on applied science. It is psychological analysis and deceptive. Points that you look at somebody to identify whether they're being honest or not. But let me ask you a question, Danny. You know this. What do you think? You think she's being deceptive?
Yes.
All right. So you agree with me. All right. So what does that mean, Danny? I mean, does this isn't like the first time, okay? Because this is kind of like, in my opinion, I've got a fish this big. And it's a story. And the fact that there are no sirens and there are no arrests and and I know this is short in the tooth, but there would be something. I mean, wouldn't you agree that there would be something right now to show an indication that the FBI is involved, DOJ is involved, that this is being taken seriously?
Oh, well, no.
Why? Is it you just don't trust the Department of Justice?
No.
But why wouldn't they? If the Department of Justice hates Republicans, why wouldn't they want to expose that the RNC is corrupt?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They have a large plan going on here that they're trying to work through and take care of business, however they're doing it behind the scenes. And, they have lied directly to our faces on mainstream media.
Yes, they have.
So why should we trust?
Yeah, we shouldn't trust any of them.
We're not supposed to. We're supposed to. And if we do want to, then, okay, let's trust them, but verify, like Bush said.
Yeah.
That's probably the smartest thing he ever said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but I agree with you. You went back over how the symptoms of the interview could be caused because of all these other things. And,
yeah, true.
I would be that guy, because I can't lie hardly.
Well,
never learned how to do it very well.
The funny thing is most people can't. And and usually the reason why someone can lie is because they are usually detached from reality and they will demonstrate a lack of conscience. And if that's the case, then you're dealing with a psychopath, or you're dealing with a person who is narcissistic, or you're a sociopath. And those are the tells, because the person who is perfectly silhouetted in not producing any type of tells or any pantomimes is usually the person you got them. And it's the old adage, right? So you get 5 guys, you arrest them for all the same crime for murder, and there's going to be 4 guys who are going to be wide awake. And the next morning when chow line comes in, they're all going to be awake, and they're going to be, and there's going to be one guy who's sleeping. The guy who's sleeping, he's the one who did it because he's caught and his conscience is clear and he knows he's caught. So he finally gets some rest. The 4 other guys are innocent, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, Danny, appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for calling in, man. Hey, you've been watching the show a while. How long have you been watching?
At least a year.
Good. Well, I hope
not that long.
Do we have more good days than bad?
Yes, of course. I understand what you're doing.
All right. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Good to hear from you.
All right. Love you. All y'all.
Love you too, buddy. You're the best. Yeah, I love that we say, it doesn't matter man, woman, or child. It's like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you, man. All right. So let's put a bow on this. It's late. Stayed a little bit longer, but this one was pretty interesting. I just want to clear up my stance. 30 seconds. I don't think Kari Lake is a liar. I don't think she's being completely honest. I don't have enough information to go on. Based upon what I saw, this is a little too convenient, and it's just a little too perfect. And I don't know if the full truth is coming out. And I think if Juicy Smollett can do it, and Bubba Wallace can do it,
yeah,
and Santos can do it, then we have to ask ourselves the question, can Kari Lake do it? And there is nothing that I've seen from her that would make me believe that she is honest when it comes to what happened in that election. And the things that she said and the things that she didn't jive with me 3 weeks before, 3 weeks after, or 1 year after. And I know that because I was the only conservative talk show host to say she was going to lose. Nobody did. Nobody. And I went into the numbers and I went into the data and I did it live with you and I showed you and people flipped out. Matt, Charlie Kirk is saying this. No. Numbers don't lie. So, is she being honest? I don't know. Is she lying? I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, it smells like a fart in a car. Just let you know. That's my opinion. Okay? Amy, go ahead.
Totally agree with everything you said. Something feels off. And like you said, there's not enough information. I think I'm hoping that we learn more, like, as the weeks come along, like, why this actually happened, why, so not that it's going to come right out and say, like, oh, this is why we did this recording. I think there's going to be other pieces that come along with this that we can kind of fit together to say, okay, this all makes sense now. This is the reason she felt the need to do this whole thing. I don't know. It still feels gross to me. This just is so
Feels weird.
awful to me. And especially if I was someone younger who didn't know a lot about politics, or who was just getting involved because maybe I get to vote this year, or maybe I didn't vote last time, or whatever it is, or maybe they're going to be voting now and they're really paying attention. If I was a young person, I would be like, what in the mother F? This lady's crazy, because it's kind of obvious it was set up, and it was obvious, like, no one eats chips that loudly on, like Olivia said, like,
why don't you hand it over to the cops? Why didn't you give it to every news media station? And then what you could do is then host this and say, I sent this out to every news media station and nobody ran it, so I'm going to run it now. I mean, really? Just, I don't know. Liv?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've only heard her talk a few times, and all the times she hasn't impressed me.
Fair enough. Listen, folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll be live tomorrow. I think Olivia is going to probably take the night off, Thursday night, and let's give her a night off. And then I will come on, if at all. We might just take the night off tomorrow, depending upon what's going on. If something crazy, we'll be here. If not, we'll take it off. We'll see you Friday. I will not have a recorded show tomorrow. We'll have one Friday for you, and it's great to see you. Amy, thank you as always. It was fun to have you all here.
Same.
So wait a second. Carol Myers said something very interesting. Kari did come out with this last year at CPAC. Then why is she saying that it
just happened?
Just happened.
Yeah.
No. She said that something happened, which means she held on to the recording. Carol, can you call in? Because if that's the case, then that's why I was like, how did she do CPAC? Because CPAC's not even going on right now. So she mentioned it last year, but she just released it. So she's held on to this for 1 year. For 1 year, she's held on to this. This just makes it less credible for me. That makes it absolute crap for me. She's had it for 1 year. She hasn't released it. She did a CPAC event on this, and then she releases it and drops it now. Yeah, this is a VP ploy. This is a VP ploy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind now. Now it's like, if this was just a few days, there's a lot of questions I have, but she has sat on this for a year. Yeah, if that's the truth. Liv, can someone fact check that? Did she really talk about this thing? Because once again, CPAC was last year, but when was CPAC? Wasn't it October, September? Someone find out? No, it is recent. The releasing of the tape just happened, but she talked about it at CPAC last year is what I'm being told. And if that's the case, that completely changes everything. I feel horrible that we're getting off at 9:30. I'm so sorry, but
hey, Amy's mom said she sounds like she's got a great sense of humor. Hang on.
I heard it. She said that she got you because you were cussing, and she goes, haha, just kidding. It was about your comment about McCarthyism. Okay, Tina Savage says it's 10 months old.
Yeah, CPAC was in March of last year, but let me just see if I can find.
That's right. CPAC is in March, and then the YFAC is in whatever it is. Okay, so this doesn't. So she held on to this a year until it was most opportune. She let this corrupt RNC guy stay in office, stay in his position for 10 months and not do anything about it. Oh, yeah. This is Carol, thank you so much. You're from Arizona. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just showing you that's the CPAC. That's the shirt she was wearing. I don't know if you can, but that's from March 4th, 2020.
See, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. First of all, I hadn't heard her speak. So when she's showing this, I'm like, wait a second, what? Someone else released the recording. Well, who else would have the recording, Carol?
Right. Yeah.
It's her recording, right? So someone close to her. Okay,
dog,
Carol.
the pug.
So this is really
The pug.
this is really interesting. So, okay, so we're going to dive into this more. To me, that just does not help the credibility of the story. In this show, you showed the CPAC with those edge. Mel, we understand that. That's our point. Is we asked the question, how in the hell did she do CPAC? Do a Rumble and a Twitter show, and all of this in one shot, right? So if this was in that's why we were asking a question. You have to understand is that I don't go to CPAC. I don't know when CPAC is. I thought it was in March or September, but that's YFAC. Yeah. CPAC is in March. So who cares? I don't understand, Mel. Help me understand what you're saying. I know it was on the show. So it's very interesting. But to have somebody, I know DeWitt resigned, and you think he would resign, but the fact that she has this everyone just walk me through this. You're a gubernatorial candidate. You have death threats. You have someone blackmailing you. You come out and you talk about it on national TV. You talk about it at CPAC. Everyone knows. You have proof of it. You don't release it. Somebody else leaks it right before there's a VP pick. It doesn't make much sense. Hold on, we got a call right now. Carol, the truth isn't what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out the intent. Hey, if you're listening to the show, go ahead and turn it down. And then who's calling?
It's Mel.
All right, Mel, what are you talking about CPAC? I didn't understand that.
Okay. So yesterday, about
Mel, you're breaking up. Go to your porch, unless it's too cold.
Oh, it's freezing out.
I know, but you're breaking up.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, much better. Go.
Okay. Yesterday you put that teaser out there with the Kari Lake whatever, and then when the show started tonight, you showed the Kari Lake with her CPAC, whatever,
right?
In that conversation, and she was saying exactly the same thing that she had said that was supposed to be exposed in her expose that just supposedly just happened.
Right.
And that's where the confusion, and that's where I got confused. Like,
yeah,
okay, I know CPAC. There is no CPAC right now, so I wasn't too sure where that clip came at the beginning of your show with her at CPAC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with what transpired with the rest of that conversation. So I think that's where a lot of the confusion, and I'm sure it is with a lot of us that have been watching in the last 2 days, whatever, about this Kari Lake bullshit. Because
because here's the thing. First of all, what we just watched tonight wasn't from me. That's Kari Lake. No. Let me finish. That's Kari. I'm telling the viewers. That's Kari Lake streaming. Like, we didn't know what she was going to play. That's all her stuff. So it's confusing to me when I see CPAC. I'm like, wait a second. Why is she at CPAC? That was the first thing I asked. How in the hell did she do CPAC? Mm-hmm. Because I knew CPAC wasn't this month because I got invited to it last year. I just couldn't remember. I only have so much in the frickin' brain box. I thought it was September. That's YFAC. March is CPAC. Fine. So it's 10 months old. But if it's 10 months old, and yes, that's fine. Of course, if the recording is 10 months old, her story from 10 months would match the story of when it was released. But Mel, nothing happens by accident in politics, especially the timing of it. Nothing. Are you kidding me? Everyone's out of the race. Donald Trump is literally going into Super Tuesday. Kari Lake is vying for a VP position. It's perfect time for her to do it. To release it now, do you really believe that it was a leak, or do you think it was just a controlled leak?
Oh, it's totally controlled, and I don't like Kari Lake, just because. Like, I didn't like her on CNN or whatever. I think she was CNN. I just don't like her, just personally. Like, whatever, but that's immaterial. But like, she's just a manipulator. She's just that, and she has the persona because she's been a TV personality, so she knows the drill. It is what it is, but this is totally planned. Sorry, I just want to throw that in there.
No, I appreciate you clarifying. You sound great, by the way. We love you calling. It's good to hear from you, buddy.
Oh, thanks. Take care, guys.
Bye, Mel.
All right, that's what it's all about.
Bye, Mel.
All right, so go ahead, Amy. Close it off.
I was just gonna FYI, CPAC is actually in DC this year, and it's February this year because of Easter. I think it goes around the Easter calendar because it's always around that time of Easter's a bit earlier.
So I
this
got to
year,
try to
so
get to
I think-
CPAC because I want to get to the RNC and I want to go up there and do that.
You said you got invited last year.
Yeah, so I just got to ask again. So and see because we were supposed to go to the Republican National Convention with Valor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that didn't happen because of COVID. So
Yep.
all right, listen, that's what's great about this show is we get to uncover together. Once again, I'm not calling Kari Lake a liar. I'm not saying this didn't take place. My thoughts are it's politically advantageous. And it doesn't sound like she took it seriously. I mean, she's sitting there, your life's being threatened and you're eating chips. Come on.
Yeah.
Really? Anyway, that's all I got.
Come out.
I just want to hear, where's the FBI? Where's the Department of Justice? Where are the U.S. Marshals? Where's her protection? Where's her bodyguards? I've seen her out all the time without bodyguards. There's just too many questions. I would love to interview her, and she probably would hate my guts and say, well, you hate me, you're a part of the fake news and all. It's just Kari Lake doesn't seem like a very open person to be challenged. Some people say the same about me, but after tonight, I should have a glowing record of being completely open and viable to be challenged. This year, talk with Kari and get it from the horse's mouth. God, I wish I could, Carol. Carol Myers, thank you, Arizona. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for the people who stopped by the DUM Show and purchased something. Amy, it's great to have you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, I guess the credit card button's not working or something.
What?
I got a message that says
credit cards working fine. People purchase
buttons on the local site. Did they get fixed? They couldn't select the credit card button.
That sounds like a issue with Does anybody know who Clay Clark is?
No.
Hold on. I got it.
That was Mel that messaged me, by the way, about that. So
hold on. Clay Clark. This sounds like a scam. Clay is the founder of Thrive 15, a constant wallet losing USB entrepreneur. No, it's a scam. Okay, so I don't know why. Who said that the credit card's not working? Mel, it's working. We've had 4 people buy something from the site tonight. So I don't know what to tell you, kiddo. It's working right now. You should try it again. Amy, you got to go.
I do have to go. I was just going to let you know that Kari Lake's book did already come out, and just in case no one was wondering. So I didn't know if it was like maybe her book's about to drop, so I had to Google it. So it's already out. It came out in June. I Googled it, but so
Love
I
you,
don't.
Amy.
I can't.
Well, maybe sales were dropping down, so this is a great revenue boost. So you're the best. You're amazing. Appreciate everybody. Listen, I'm going to continue to work on being more affable. The way I do that is by making jokes. I have to keep bringing it up, and it'll be annoying, but it'll help me remember to be a little bit nicer. I'm working on it. I'm just everyone.
Clay Clark.
Yeah, I know
is
who he
a
is.
far right conspiracy theorist podcaster from Oklahoma.
Sure, I'll bring him on. Why not? I'll talk to him. The guy, he wants to come on my show, so I'll bring him on. I mean, I'll bring on anybody. Hey guys, thanks for watching. We are way late. We got to get out of here. This one, we're not coming on tomorrow. We're not going to have a live show. Good night. We love you. We appreciate you. See you later. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Y'all go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. Subscribe. See ya. Bye. Thanks. Bye. Amy, you rock.
Bye, guys. Night, y'all.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia.
No, not Sheriff Clark. No, that's not the one. And Carol, I think that's fine that you trust Kari. I have no reason to distrust her. I'm just a very circumspect human being. That's the way that I am. Thanks, buddy. It's good to see y'all. God bless Arizona. God bless everybody. Talk to you soon.
And Mike, geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.